Darling, if I had bought you flowers, would you still be here by my side? Yeah, I thought this moment could be ours while I'm walking on you through the night.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Break my bones,
How's everybody doing on this fine Thursday?
break all the promises, but leave me alone. Don't break my heart. You should fucking stay with him. You should fucking stay with him.
Benno, what's good? Welcome in. I've been stalking Twitch for the last 5 minutes waiting for this. King, what's good, bro? Welcome in. Ben, I'm doing pretty good, brother. How are you doing? Thank you for asking. Shay, what's good, bro? Welcome in. I'm doing pretty good, brother. Doing pretty good. Been a chill day.
I've been lonely counting hours while I'm
Been a chill day. It's snowing over here where I live. So that's not exactly ideal. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, Ben. I'm glad to hear you're doing good, man. Glad to hear it. Nick, what's up, brother? Welcome in. Snowing here too. Shit, I figured it was, bro. Yeah. No, it's not snowing anymore, but it was snowing earlier this morning. Snowing earlier this morning. Snowing lucky. Yeah, King, I don't think I would call it lucky, but I understand where you're coming from. It's different for you guys. Different for you guys, I get it, trust me. F1 Free Practice 1 is today. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Taxi Simulator, yes, we are playing a little bit of Taxi Sim, Benno. We're going to try and finish out the game. Try and see if we can't get that Mercedes. Don't think I've had snow for like 2 or 3 years. Okay, well, I get where you're saying lucky now. That makes more sense. F1 boy, day's going pretty good, bro. Day's going pretty good. It's been a chill day. Those of you who know about deer, whitetail deer specifically, I had a 10-point buck sitting in my backyard for about 6.5 hours today. Those of you who don't know the rules in the United States, can't shoot in town, so pretty much useless. But he was just, I mean, he was chilling out there for like 6.5 hours today, laying in the backyard, walking around. I mean, it's decent size. I wouldn't say very big. When I was younger, my dad shot a 36.5-point buck, so I would say most people are happy with anywhere from 8 to 12 points, depending on the size of the deer and the weight of the deer. I haven't hunted in a really long time. It's strange because F1 free practice today is on Thursday. Yeah, it's again, I mean, it's Thursday for me too. It'll be late Thursday night, but I get where you're coming from. A little bit different. Got a stretch redemption already. So jump over to the main channel. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Hit that stretch real quick. King, to answer your question though, I haven't hunted in a really long time. I used to hunt with my dad, but ever since he hasn't been around and isn't always there, it's a little bit harder for me to enjoy hunting. It's not exactly the greatest thing to do by yourself, in my opinion. Something is going on with our... We might have to restart the game. Oh, I really don't want to have to restart the game. Doesn't look like we have a choice right now, though. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem like we have a choice. Do you reckon you could finish Taxi? Maybe. Depending. I mean, if we keep running into problems like this, we'll probably never get done. Give me 1 second. I have to try and restart the game here. I don't know what's going on with it. It's just constantly jumping around. I don't know what's going on here. Let me try and fix this. Let me see if I can't fix this real quick. Yeah, we're gonna have to try and reload the game real quick. I don't know what's going on here. Don't know what's going on. Also, Nick, glad to hear that. Glad to hear that, bro. You have plenty of time for girls, so don't feel like you're rushed. Don't feel like you should rush into it at all. Trust me. Time will come, brother. Believe that. Believe that. I was playing Fortnite. I'm playing Fortnite right now, watching you. Makes me calm. Well, I'm glad I could be a part of that calming method for you. Glad I could be a part of that method for you. I was playing Fortnite ranked earlier during school hours because I'm sick, and literally as soon as school finished, the lobbies became so sweaty. Yep, that's probably pretty typical. Am I wrong? Give me 1 second. For some reason, the game is tweaking out right now. One second, y'all. The game is literally going crazy right now. Yeah, I just hit Unreal. King says he's a sweat. F1 Boy says, yeah, I don't touch grass. Listen, fair enough. I'm not gonna judge anybody. I'm not here to judge anybody. And anyway. But yeah, Unreal's pretty crazy. If I'm not mistaken, that is the highest rank in Fortnite. It's been ages since I've played, so I could be wrong, but King says, yeah, that's the highest. Alright, bet that. Alright, let's jump over to the main screen now. We're gonna try and get to the garage and see if our game is broken still. Okay, we're good. We're good. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Alright, so let's see. We need to earn 24,000 euros. We have 6,000 now. We need about 18,000 more. It's going to be a little bit difficult, I can't lie. I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. We definitely could do it. But I think it's going to take working. Wait, how are they working? It's 9 a.m. That doesn't make sense. Oh, okay. Never mind. I see where they're working. Well, we need all these people to be working at the same time, so let's think about this. 9 a.m. 6 a.m. is the earliest we have someone working. Let's put him on a different line. Let's put him on a different line. Actually, let's go ahead and try and hire an employee. Let's get Luis in here. And then let's give him... I don't know why we can't scroll. Why do these vitamin gummies taste so good? That I don't know the answer to, my friend. Oh, Luis is at the top. Never mind. We're losing our mind. Luis, and he can work in the... Come on. Come on. Here, and we'll put him on the 98 shift. Let's go to our employees, and let's go ahead and fire Liam. Perfect. All right. My dad does taxi driving. That's cool. Why do these vitamin gummies taste so good? I mean, would you rather them taste bad? All right. So 9 a.m. is our earliest work. Go ahead and rest for 7 hours. 5 hours. 2 hours. 8:42 a.m. All right, we can get out on the streets now. By the time our workers get going, we should be able to get some things running. Poor Liam, bro, got fired. He didn't deserve his job anyways. He wasn't working hard enough. He wasn't working hard enough. It's just I want to eat too many, but like they're medicine. I don't want to eat too... Yeah, don't do that. Whatever you do, please. All right, James, we're going to pick you up for 1,700 euros. Not a bad start to the day. Not a bad start to the day. Actually, we need to turn our keyboard back on. Yeah, King, please don't do that, brother. That's all I have to say. Please don't. All right, James. Give me our first customer of the day for a while. Ooh, forgot the buttons there for a second. Just got 5 elims. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. I will say, anyone who has the game Deceive Inc. or is willing to give it a chance, if you did download it when it was free from Epic Games, you can add me on Epic, and I'd more than happily be willing to play a couple games with y'all. I do have a pretty good time on that game. It's pretty fun. Deceive Inc. It's a Epic Games launcher game. I don't know if it's brand new, but it just recently came out from what I'm understanding, and it was free for the last like week up until the 14th, if I'm not mistaken. I don't believe it is still free. You'd have to double check, but I do not think it is still under the free category. Like I said, I could be wrong about that. You'll have to double check that information. But I think it was till the 14th of this month. Shay says not free anymore, so yes, I was correct. F1 Boy says tomorrow's his birthday. Well, happy early birthday, my friend. We will not be live tomorrow, so gonna give you that birthday shout out today. If we can get some happy birthdays in for F1 Boy, that would be great. Not gonna be tomorrow. We're not gonna be live tomorrow. We have basketball practice, and we're also gonna be hanging out with the kids. So, yes, we will not be live tomorrow. It is a battle royale game where you disguise yourself as an NPC, and you go around and either try and disable the vault terminals so you can get inside the vault and steal the briefcase and escape with said briefcase, or you try and eliminate all the people in the game. They also disguise themselves as NPCs, so you try and like detect whether or not, like, if you think it's someone that is trying to hide themselves, you can shoot at them. If you are wrong, you get heat on you. The more heat that you have, the more damage you take throughout the game. Basically, there's two ways to win. You either escape with the briefcase or you kill everybody in the lobby. How much is it normally? I do not know that, not off the top of my head. I downloaded it when it was free. I don't know anything about the pricing of the game. Shay says it's 20 USD. What's up, James? Welcome in, bro. Appreciate you stopping. Thank you for choosing High Voltage Taxi Company. We will get you to your destination safely and expeditiously. But no, I've been having a blast. That's the game I play whenever I need some showdown time. If there's some time between the time I'm going to bed and I just want to be on the computer talking to my boys and chilling, that's usually what I get on and play. I've played, I think, 25 games total. I've won 15 of them. I think I have like 4 solo wins. I think I have like 7 duo wins, and then like 3 or 4 trio wins. No, it's a lot better with friends, for sure. When you playing solo is pretty stressful, I can't lie. You're always looking behind you, always constantly like double checking everybody. And most of the time, you end up with a bunch of heat on you. There's also agents that have certain abilities and guns, so not everyone shares the same guns. You have to, oh my gosh, you have to be a part of the agent to have their guns set. Each agent has 3 different guns and 3 different passive abilities and 3 different expertise abilities. While you are an NPC, you can look around and walk normally. So, like, your character will seem as if they're walking straight forward, but you could be turned around the entire time. And on someone else's screen, it would just look like someone was walking normally. That's kind of one of the ways that you can use, like, the free look system to your advantage, because you can always be, like, on the lookout for someone either to the left or the right or behind you, and it always just looks like your character's walking forward. You can disguise yourself as pieces of furniture, and like you could mimic a chair, turn yourself into a chair, and then your teammate could sit on the chair that you are, which I think is pretty funny. I haven't won a game yet disguised as a piece of furniture. I got 2nd place in a solo game. I was camped outside of the vault as a chair, just waiting for someone to break into the vault. It ended up backfiring on me, but I mean, it was still fun. And then I think the thing I enjoy the most is that the games are pretty quick. It's a pretty fast-paced game. Like, some of them will take 20 minutes, some of them will take 5 minutes. It depends on how aggressive the people you're playing with are, and it also depends on the proximity of where everyone goes when they first spawn in. And it also just depends on the map. I want to say there's 5 or 6 different maps. I don't know off the top of my head for sure. I want to say there's 5 or 6 different maps. I enjoy all of them.
You turn on the AC?
There's really only one of them that I don't really enjoy. This guy wants the AC on. Whatever. There you go, bro.
Thanks.
Yeah. There you go. There's your AC. Now you can sit back there and enjoy the ride, James. I don't like super Seems like more of a strategic game than anything else. It definitely can be. It definitely can be, because, I mean, you can choose to play passive and just wait for people to open the vault for you and keep your intel and try and use that to your advantage, or you could be aggressive and try and get, like, in the middle of the city and just wait till you hear shots and try and take out as many people as you can. I like to play both ways, depending on what, not only who I'm playing with, but just what happens. I do think that it's got a little bit more strategy than the average Battle Royale, just because of the disguising yourself as NPCs and the multiple different covers that you can take throughout the game. The thing that I enjoy the most is that, let's say you get into a fight with someone and you guys don't kill each other, and they already know your disguise. You could then escape from them if they either run away or you run away, change your disguise, and they would probably, almost 75% of the time, they would be looking for that same disguise that you had, because there's different tiers of disguises. So, like, the civilians don't get into any of the rooms for, like, they don't get into any of the rooms without being their without having, like, their cover blown. And then there's the staff people who are green. They primarily are the first aid people, who, that's where you can get your first aid vials and, like, heal yourself back up. The blue guards are the second tier of disguises that you could get. Most of the time, the blue room will lead to a purple room, and the purple room is where the vault terminals are. You either run into a vault terminal or you get your expertise. There is a lot of things that are not necessarily nuanced about the game, but that it's a little bit harder to explain if you've never played. So there's, like, field upgrades that you can unlock and find around the map by either opening safes through intel or just ending up killing someone that has those said field upgrades, and then you can take theirs. I enjoy the game a lot. There's, like, 12 different agents, maybe. I might be wrong about the number of agents. Like I said, it's pretty. You sound like you work for the game. Listen, when I enjoy a game, I like to let my boys know, and especially a game that, like, is genuine enjoyment. I've not played a game that isn't sim racing that I've genuinely wanted to share to other people besides that one. And I know that it sounds like I'm being paid for this, or like that they're promoting it. I promise you guys, I'm not being paid by Epic or by anyone that is a part of that game to even speak about it. I don't think that I got that kind of motion yet. I'm not to the point to where people are reaching out to me to speak about their game. If we do get to that point, you guys will be the first ones to know that, for one, I'm being paid, and for two, that someone else is not necessarily changing my opinion, but they're giving me money to speak good about it. But this is not the situation right now. You should do a live stream about this game. That could be interesting, actually. That could be interesting. The only thing that I think is a downside to that is that we do have a lot of under 18 and non-mature viewers on our YouTube and our Twitch. Did you ever play? I did play Apex. I played Apex quite a bit, actually, especially when it first came out. I was a Bloodhound main. If I wasn't playing Bloodhound, I was playing Pathfinder. And if I wasn't playing either one of those two, I was playing Octane. I haven't played Apex in probably a while. I want to say maybe a year, and it might even be longer than that. Octane for the win. I love that speed boost, man. That speed boost in that jump pad. But they changed Reaper like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't even know who Reaper is. So maybe it's been longer than a year. I have a very hard time make it so only 18 plus can watch. Yeah, I mean, I could do that, but then you wouldn't be here. Reaper is the skeleton. Yeah, and I don't know who that is. The people I can think of off the top of my head are like Gibraltar, Bangalore, Mirage, Wraith, Pathfinder, Caustic. Lifeline. Is it an 18 plus game? I don't know, actually. Shay, if you could do a little bit, if you could do some research about that. I don't think that there's any blood, but there is shooting and killing involved. That's the only reason I say that. I don't think that there's any blood, but like I said, I think that there's, I know that there's shooting and killing involved, so that's the only reason why I would be hesitant on throwing it on the stream. Not saying that we wouldn't, because that could be a blast. That could be a really fun time. Apex would be such a good game if they were not owned by Epic, EA, because EA don't listen to fans. Yeah, agreed. I mean, ultimately, I think that every Battle Royale has its lifespan. I know that you guys are going to say that Fortnite lives on, but I think that Fortnite will forever live on, not only for nostalgic reasons, but just because there will always be new kids who want to play Fortnite and experience it. Those other Battle Royales aren't in that same category, in my opinion. Now, I will forever die on this hill. The best Battle Royale I had the most fun in, if not the best in my opinion, is H1Z1. I absolutely loved that game. It was such a good time. Every time I would get on that game, it was a blast. It's rated T, so that's teen audience. That's what, 13 and above? So we should be good. We should be able to stream it with no problems. Fortnite has had about 7 lifelines. Apex did pop off again like a year ago, year and a half, but it died really recently. Yeah, I agree. Again, though, I always think that Fortnite will they've etched their name into the games that will live on in time, not only for nostalgic purposes, but I think that they changed not only the Battle Royale scene, but the gaming scene themselves, just with the creator codes and the skins of creators and the skins that they were creating and the changes that they made. Like, I don't think that there's going to be a game that can replicate the change that Fortnite had throughout gaming together, in my opinion. Sorry I can't stay again. Just been very busy lately. Good to see you're on the best game. Look forward to watching later. For now, have fun. And when is the next stream? Donut, next stream's going to be next week, brother. We have basketball practice tomorrow, so we will not be live on Friday. And then we have 2 games on Saturday, so we will not be live on Saturday either. I don't necessarily want to apologize because my daughter's basketball takes precedent over anything. But it is a little bit hurtful that we can't be there. We might throw an impromptu stream up tomorrow morning, depending on the situation. We do have a lot to do around the house, so got a lot of dishes and laundry to do tomorrow. So probably not, but it is a possibility, so just make sure you look out for that. Games have done it before, and they will do it after Fortnite. And they will do it after, but Fortnite is like a generational game. See, I'm not saying that there's never been a game that's changed it like Fortnite has. I just think that the overall, not even just playability. We'll pause the game for a second. Fortnite is the GOAT of gaming, whether or not you like it or not. See, I don't know if I want to give it the GOAT, but I will. Problem with most battle royales is people get too good at a point. I mean, that's the problem with any game, unfortunately. Especially if it's a multiplayer type of game. Ultimately, you're gonna run, whether or not it's 3 years into the life cycle or 6 months into the life cycle. If it's any kind of multiplayer game, as time goes on, the average, as you just said, the average player becomes better than what they were. Like, the thing I can kind of attest to that is Rocket League. It's like when I started playing Rocket League, when the game first came out, like 2016, 2017, if you could aerial and control the ball in the air, you were probably a diamond, if not a little bit higher than diamond, playing Rocket League right now. But now, I mean, people in bronze have good car control and good ball control in terms of aerial and just dribbling ability. So I think it's just one of those things where as the game goes on, not only do people play it more, but it becomes more known of like the tricks and the things that the better people who play the game do to make themselves better. If that doesn't make any sense, if that makes sense. I mean, I've seen bronzes do it, bro. Like, I know that was probably a big jump, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, when the game first came out, it was unheard of to know, at least for your friends. Like, obviously there's always going to be pros in every venture of every game. But when the game first came out, if you knew a friend that could aerial consistently and dribble in the air, he was probably the best out of all of your friends by hands down. Like, games die because people become too good for the average player who just wants to have fun. I can somewhat agree to that, but I also somewhat disagree to that. Because, again, I've never been what you would consider an average player in anything. I don't want to say that, like, to sound extremely confident or cocky about myself. I just mean that when I do play a multiplayer game, I'm playing for one reason, and it's to become the best I can be. Now, I understand that there's not a lot of... I don't know if there's not a lot, but I understand that there's a lot of people who just want to play the game and have fun. Now, I see both sides of the situation, especially if you just are just trying to get on and spend some time with your boys and just have a good time. But ultimately, I think that a good amount of games try and balance the fact that they know that you don't play. Yes, you're still going to run into games where you get pummeled, but also I think that you're going to run into games where you are the one doing the pummeling. Like, I think that that's ultimately going to be the give and take in every multiplayer game forever. Ultimately, it just comes down to what you're willing to deal with and kind of not necessarily suffer, but what you're willing to face in order to be able to get those games in the future, at least in my opinion. Third place, that's not too bad. Not too bad. You got a podium. I will say, somewhat of a side note, not really a side note, but while we're talking about other games, I was very, very heavily tempting to download Warzone. My good friends Jordan and Nate have been playing it pretty frequently. They play COD pretty heavily, so obviously they enjoy Warzone more than like the average person does. But a lot of times when we're all in a Discord, we'll end up just like throwing a stream up so that way you can, if you want, of course, you could always just watch what's going on. So like if I'm playing a game, I'll throw a stream up so they can see, and if they're playing a game, like I'll watch the stream just so that I can watch what they're doing. More like, I don't know if it's, I don't know how you want to phrase it, but I've always enjoyed sharing those kind of experiences with other people. That's why I like Discord so much, is the fact that you can share your screen and show other people like what's going on or what you're doing, even if they don't play the game. As long as they have somewhat of an understanding of what the game is, they can at least enjoy it while watching you, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the way I see it. It's almost like a easier version of streaming to me. Like, the only reason I say it's easier is because I just sit in Discord and talk to my boys, and there's no real need to be entertaining or be like engaging nonstop. Yeah, screen share's Discord's best feature, hands down. That's why I think Nitro is so, I don't want to say it's so pushed onto other people, but that's why I think it's so popular for people who do screen share in situations like that, because if you have Nitro, most of the time your screen share can be at a better quality. Like, you can run at 1080p 60 frames, or you can run 1440p at 60 frames, especially if you have like server boosted. If your server is to level 2, anyone who's in that server and any voice channel, once they try and start like to stream their screen, they can use the same things that like a Discord Nitro member could use. So like they could use the 1440p 60 frames per second, which I enjoy a lot because obviously the better quality a game is, the more that you can see what's going on, especially a game like Warzone where if it was 720p 30 frames, it's a little bit harder to watch, especially if they're playing on like a 1080p 60 frames situation. But I agree hands down. I think that screen share is probably one of the best things that Discord's done. If you haven't already also, I did post a good amount of giveaway links into the Discord server, the High Voltage Discord server today. If you want to give them a look, if you're in the server, just go ahead and go to the community section and it should be under the giveaways. If you are not in the server and you would like to check it out, go ahead and !point Discord or just ask me for a link and I will send you that invite link as soon as possible. I did enter every single one that I sent into the Discord. Some of those looked sketchy, I'm going to be honest.
Another day at work.
What are we
am I
talking?
right?
Which ones are we talking about? Because every single one I sent,
Yes, I love
the
it.
only one I sent that
I
wasn't
wish I
on
was
Gleam
as
was
enthusiastic as you.
the Steam Deck, I
That's
think.
what I wanted to achieve. Driving cars
And Gleam is
something
the
I've always
most known
That's the spirit.
giveaway platform there is. One of them was from Logitech, the company. One of them was from a YouTuber who is giving away MetaQuest 3. He's pretty well known. He just made a video on it like 3 days ago. It has like 1,000 views. He's got like 26,000 subscribers. The Steam Deck one is hosted by Cheat Happens. So that's a company, and they are pretty well known in terms of. I mean, no, I get it, bro. I'm not. Listen, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But like I said, I sent the ones that I entered in. I gave them all my information. That's just my opinion. One of them was, I think 2 of them were hosted by YouTubers. The Logitech one and the MetaQuest one were both YouTubers. Then there was a Logitech G Pro, like sim racing setup that Logitech was hosting. And then the very first one I did was Moza, which obviously all of us know Moza is trustworthy, and it is a collaboration with LG. I can't think of all the ones I sent off the top of my head. I can't think of who is giving away the PS5 Pro. Not off the top of my head. But yeah, like I said, if it sounds sketchy to you, don't do it. That's, the easiest way to put it. I know it sounds ignorant to say it like that, but if it doesn't seem like it's going to be something that you want to do, don't do it. But I wouldn't give anyone my information or put it out there if I didn't trust it or if I didn't do it myself already. So that's just my opinion. But again, you're all entitled to your own opinion. If you don't trust it, don't do it. I'm not trying to force any of you into doing it at all. Yes, okay. That's the only other one. That's the only one that's not Gleam, was the WooRise. But it's because they have their own website that is sort of like Gleam. So I think that's the only reason why they weren't on the Gleam.io. At least I think so. I don't know for sure, but yes, you are correct. Thank you for reminding me. But yes, I agree. The Moza one's pretty nuts. It's 3 winners. The first winner gets, I believe it is the Moza R9 base in the CSP V2 wheel with a 43-inch curved LG OLED monitor, which is worth on a non-Black Friday sale, the monitor's worth $1,400 US. On a Black Friday sale, it's worth $900 US. The second one is the Moza R5 bundle and a 34-inch LG OLED. And I don't know exactly the pricing on that one off the top of my head, but I think it's around 700-ish. I think it's 700 or 800 US without the Black Friday sale. Again, I don't know that for sure, so please don't quote me on that one. I do know for a fact that the 43-inch is $1,400. It's $13.99 US. It's a 240 hertz, 0.5 millisecond response time, curved monitor, OLED. And then I think the third prize is the KS steering wheel. Obviously, if we won the third prize, it wouldn't be the best thing that we could get because we don't have a Moza wheel base to use. But if we were to win said third prize, we would probably just try and save up our money or sell our Logitech. See, that's what I've been having trouble with, is a lot of people have told me not to try and sell my Logitech because it's the first wheel I've ever owned. I get that 100%. And I know that it's like the nostalgic feeling, and not only nostalgic, but it's just to show like where you came from and how long we've had it. If the money made sense, I wouldn't even think about selling the wheel. What did you say what did you say the HZ was? It's 240, I believe. 240 hertz. I want the KS wheel. KS is a sick wheel. That is the wheel that I've been looking at. If the money made sense for me, I would personally get probably an R5 bundle and then purchase the KS steering wheel and have them interchangeable. Use the KS wheel when we do F1, and then like situations like this, probably just keep the regular R5 wheel on there. I have the Formula V 2.5 wheel. Oh, that's a nice wheel too. I mean, if you want my genuine opinion, of course, I would like to have the, I think it's called the GSR, maybe? I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but it's got like 13 programmable buttons. It's got like 4 different dials, switches. Obviously, that's the nicer one, but again, money is a very big object in terms of upgrading sim racing gear, and that is not something that we have in this current moment. GSGT, that might be it. It's the one that looks very similar to the KS wheel. It's just a little bit bulkier and it has more buttons on it. I have more buttons than you know what to do with. Oh, I'd find something to do with them. Trust me, that's for sure. But I'd rather have that problem than having the problem where we are running out of buttons. That's just my opinion. Especially when it comes to sim racing, being as that's where we spend most of our time. If it made sense, I would rather have the overkill setup where some things are less needed and be able to tell people, like, if this isn't what you want to do, you don't need it because it's a little bit overkill and it's just not for the average person. But obviously, like we've said in the past multiple times, I am the average consumer and I just don't have the money to have the overkill setup. But that's just me. My next upgrade for my sim is pedals. That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. I find my throttle way too soft and sensitive. I can understand that. I think that our biggest problem with pedals is the braking. Being as that we have the Logitech bundle, the brake is not as controllable per se as some of the other ones. Even like the SRP wheel, even like the SRP pedals from Moza, they offer more customizability and more kind of travel within the brake pedal itself than the Logitech bundle. Whereas, like, obviously we all know load sells the best, but again, money. My brake isn't too bad. Still a bit stiff. Still a bit soft, but it's not bad. Yeah, I mean, you would probably say that my brake is soft as well. Again, it's just the plastic Logitech. What I'm confused about is Moza recently lowered the price for the KS wheel to $249 in general, but now that's the Black Friday deal. Yeah, Shay, that's what every company does ever. They upcharge the price. Well, they upcharge the quote-unquote listing price, and then they give you a great deal when it's realistically just the same price as what it was 3 weeks ago. I'm not saying that every company does that, but there is a lot of companies who do that exact same thing. They will mark the product up by like $60 or $70 on its list price, and then they'll say it's $60 or $70 off when it's really just the same price as it was 2 months ago. Ultimately, that just comes down to how much you think that your people or your customers are checking pricing, and how much you think that they are actually paying attention to things like that. Because unfortunately, the biggest trick in marketing is to try and get someone's eyes. Yeah, but Moza didn't do that for anything else. It's probably because that wheel is very sought after. Like, it's still a really nice wheel to where you could be a little bit past the middle ground of, like, you have a really nice wheel and have a bunch of buttons to use, but also it's not too overpriced to where it's out of the average consumer's price range. Like, someone could ask for it for Christmas, and someone would be able to get it, compared to like a $400, $500 wheel. Those are a lot more out of realm for the average person, because if you ask for a $400 or $500 present, it's probably the only thing you're gonna get. Even if you do get it, let's just be real. I was never getting anything like that. At least growing up. That's for sure. But no, I get exactly what you're saying. It doesn't really make sense why they would only do it for that product. But I've seen it countless times from every company ever. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the monitors that we were just talking about are marked up, because if I'm not mistaken, when it was Amazon Prime Day, you could get, I don't know if it was that exact same LG monitor, but it was definitely something similar, and I want to say it was for around $850, and it was at a list price of $1,000. Now, I could be wrong. It could be an entirely different monitor. It might not have been curved. It might not be an OLED monitor. I don't know the exact specificities about the situation. I do just know for a fact that that is very common practice when it comes to companies trying to use that to their advantage. All right, we're going to have to break the law here. Sorry, Kevin. Don't get upset. We missed our turn. We were too busy talking. Sorry, Kevin. Too busy talking. 4 stars, that's crazy work. That's crazy work. We definitely deserved 5 there. Definitely deserved 5 stars there. I don't know what he's thinking. Looks like Juan Goncalves is our next customer. Short distance for $575, or medium distance for $769. Let's do the short distance. Also, Black Friday isn't like it used to be. Not at all, Shay. 100% agree with that. It is not at all what it used to be. Do you cook Christmas dinner for your family? No, I do not. Most of the time, we go to my fiance's father's house. That's usually where we have Christmas for, like, our family, for everybody total. So that's usually where the dinner's being made. And then if we do go to my mom doesn't usually have Christmas on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. She usually does it about a week, or either a week before Christmas or a week after Christmas, just because she knows that we're all very busy and we're all trying to go to other places. Like, my sister and them have their own mom that they are going to, and then they have their own family that they want to go to, and then we have my fiance's father, my father-in-law, who soon to be father-in-law, who has his on Christmas Day, and then one of my aunt-in-laws, she has hers on Christmas Eve. It's pretty late at night, but still, I think that that's the main reason that my mom has always tried to do either a week after or a week before, just because she wants as many people there as possible. And on those 2 days, things can get very, very chaotic. And it doesn't help that we all don't live in the same town. So my mom does live about 45 minutes away from most of all of us. So that already puts a dampener on things. Because obviously, I mean, 45 minutes isn't that far of a drive. I'm not saying it's a far drive at all. But when you've traveled to 3 or 4 places already throughout the day, the last thing that you really want to do is get back in the car and drive on the highway at probably one of the worst times in the year for traffic and just for people who don't pay attention. But yeah, King, I agree. She's very thoughtful. She's always been that. She's the greatest mom that anyone could ask for. She's considerate, beyond considerate. She give you the straws off of her back if she had any. She would literally do anything for you if you were her friend and if you cared about her. Even if you treated her with disrespect or didn't treat her the way that she was deserved, she would still give you the time of day and say that you might be having a bad day or that someone may have been doing the same thing to you, and she would never ever degrade or hurt anyone's feelings because they were trying to hurt her feelings. That's something that I've learned from my mom and something that I will never forget from her. All right, Matilda. Let's go pick you up. Looks like we have like half a tank of gas right now. Probably get one more customer before we have to go get... Well, I know we're not in a gas car, but I just don't know how to word it. We need more power. We need more electricity in the car. Alright, Matilda. Oh, are you kidding me? There's no way I hit that car. No way. I refuse to believe that happened. Two years ago, I had to cook the potatoes as a 13-year-old because my uncle got stuck in traffic after a car broke down getting some more carrots. Psh, rip. I mean, I'm not saying that I've not helped. I've definitely helped in the past. But again, when it comes to entire family gatherings, we will either just make a side dish and bring the side dish, or my mom or my father-in-law, soon-to-be father-in-law, will just do all the cooking, or my stepmother-in-law will do all the cooking, just because they not only do they enjoy it, but they have a nicer house, they have more room for people to come over, etc., etc. My dad prides himself in cooking potatoes, so I had him on call and taught me how to do them. Well, that's nice, brother. Always nice to have a helping hand, even if it's just someone to listen to what you're doing. Especially if it's the first time you've ever cooked anything. It's always nice to just have that soundboard that can, even if they're just talking to you and trying to talk you through their thought process, I always think that that's more calming, in my opinion, than than just doing it randomly yourself. Obviously, because it's a little bit harder that way, but that's just the way I see it. Also, that it's a little bit different from my mom's house. Like, with Thanksgiving coming up, this is going to sound crazy to some of you, but most of my family doesn't like turkey. And I don't care who you are or what you're going to say. Eight or nine times out of 10,
driving around Barcelona.
Oh, I'm loving
turkey's
it.
dry.
There's so
I don't
much to
care
see and to
how
see.
you cook it
What
or
makes
for how
driving
long
here
you
so
cook it.
special for you?
Turkey is dry. It's probably the worst
The mix of modern and
of
historic
holiday
buildings
meat,
make
in
for a
my
truly
opinion.
Unique experience.
So,
Oh. Is
a
there
place like my mom's
anything you
house,
don't like about
we are
driving
having
here?
lasagna for Thanksgiving because everyone loves lasagna, and my mom can make insane
Navigating the narrow
lasagna.
streets in the older areas
She
of the
makes
city
a
can be difficult.
she makes a
That's
7
true.
cheese
I've had
type of
trouble with
lasagna and a
that
3
too.
cheese type of lasagna. I believe we're having 3 cheese this year. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. I can't wait to get to my mom's house and kill like 2 or 3 pieces of lasagna and just sit back and relax. We're also going to be doing a little bit of gambling, not advised. This is just family gambling. We're playing a little bit of CLR. Those of you who are in the United States, you might know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should look it up. It's a pretty cool game. Play quarters. You roll dice. If you get a dot, you keep your quarters. If you get a center, you toss your quarters to the center. If you get a C, it's a center. If you get an L, it's a left. If you get an R, it's a right. It's called CLR. Basically, you start with like, I think it's like 5 or 6 quarters, and obviously as you roll the dice, if you get a bunch of dots, you keep all your quarters. If you get 2 lefts, you give the person to your left 2 of your quarters. It's pretty cool, and it's a game that all the kids can play and enjoy. I've always, at any family function on my mom's side, we've always played CLR growing up. That's probably one of our biggest pastimes, is just getting around a table and playing CLR together. When I was around 9 years old, I had actually ended up winning about $150 in a game of CLR because my grandmother just could not handle the fact that she was losing, and she just kept buying back in over and over and over again, and I was insanely lucky. I've never won anything like that again.
Have a
But
nice day.
Javen, what's good, brother? How's our favorite fireman today? He says, listen, I appreciate you commenting on the mustache, but I don't think it's heavy enough to be a first responder. I don't think we're to that point yet. I also want to just say about the mustache, this might be the farthest that we can go without product enhancement. So without like a derma roller or without beard oil. This may be the farthest that we can go in terms of growth and just actually being able to have the mustache grow itself. All right, we need gas, I forgot. Well, electric. Whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. She's looking thick, Sanchez Jr. Whatever you say, bro. Whatever you say. I appreciate you, though, Javen. Welcome in, bub. Me and my friends gamble with ourselves, not using real money. We play blackjack and poker. Yeah, see, poker's good fun. When we used to have a game night with our boys, and we would all, like, sometimes there was a buy-in, so like you would show up and you'd put like $5 in the pot. Ghost needs the Sensei Wu mustache. I don't know what that is, but I'll have to look it up. We put like $5 in the pot and we'd use fake chips, and whoever ends up winning the end of the night takes all the money. Not every time would we put money in the pot. Sometimes it was just for fun, just to enjoy each other's company and just to play poker and enjoy it. I don't know what Ninjago is. I apologize. Like, I mean, sorry, not sorry. I mean, that's just not something I've watched. I also play blackjack and other games. We always play poker. A lot of my friends are Muslim, so they can't gamble with actual money. No way Unc doesn't know Ninjago. It's not that I don't know it. I've just never watched it. If I'm not mistaken, it's an anime type of cartoon. I've never been into anime. The only anime I've ever enjoyed was Dragon Ball Z. Nah, a few nights ago, I was calling him not an Unk, not knowing Ninjago's Unk status. Nope, not anime. Well, then I just don't know what I'm talking about. I've never watched it. If it even is something to watch. At this point, I don't even know what we're talking about. Alright, let's just get to the gas station. Ooh, that could have ended bad. Whoa! It is a show. Yep, never seen it. Sorry. I've never watched it before. Never watched it before. My friend's house, who has a poker set, always has a massive bag of salted sunflower seeds, the ones with shells on them, and my mom always says we look like old men playing poker and eat them. How can you be an unk and not seen Lego Ninjago Master of Spinjitzu? Dude, now you've lost me completely. Now you've lost me completely. Alright, let's go pick up Patricia. King, I know exactly what you're talking about, though. Sunflower seeds are incredibly goated. Incredibly goated. The thing about sunflower seeds is that I enjoy almost every flavor of sunflower seeds, even though I don't like the things that are the flavor. Like, I don't know if it's just like a baseball thing, but sunflower seeds are like a huge staple in American baseball. So the only time I wasn't eating sunflower seeds on the baseball field is when I was pitching. And that was just because I never wanted to have any distractions while pitching. But if I was in the field or batting, I had like a giant handful of sunflower seeds. My favorite, this is going to sound crazy to say because I don't like any of these things that I'm about to name. My favorite type of sunflower seed is probably either ranch or dill pickle. Those are insanely good. And now again, I don't even like ranch. Ranch is probably one of my least favorite condiments. I don't even like the smell of ranch. But for some reason, ranch sunflower seeds just hit the spot. They're so good. And dill pickle sunflower seeds, they're fire. Plain's all right, but I prefer some flavor. I'd even mess with some barbecue ones sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes we hit a little bit of barbecue. We can't go that way. We're blocked off from that area. That's the first time I've ever seen that happen. Barbecue's very good. See, but again, I don't even like barbecue sauce. I just enjoy a barbecue flavored sunflower seed. Which, it sounds crazy to say, but that's genuinely just, I don't know. I don't know. That's the truth. We're breaking the law. We need to get to Patricia to pick her up. She's trying to get to her doctor's appointment. Patricia, welcome in. You don't like barbecue, weirdo. Listen,
Hi there.
you could say anything and everything you want about my eating habits and the things that I like and don't like. I've been called a picky eater and a weird person for my entire life. You're not going to change the fact that I don't like the things that I don't like. I can't control the things that I do and don't like. I wish I liked the salad, but guess what? I don't. If it's green and it's a food, I don't want it. The only green things that I like are money. Straight like that. If it's a food and it's green, I don't want it. Unless it's a green bean. That's the only one that I enjoy. Green beans and money. I don't like broccoli. I don't like lettuce. I don't like celery. Now, when it comes to fruits, I enjoy almost every single fruit across the board. There's a couple that I've not had, like star fruit. I don't think I've ever had dragon fruit. But like pomegranate, fire. Pineapple, fire. Cantaloupe, fire. Watermelon, fire. Jalapenos, no, I don't like jalapenos. I don't really enjoy hot food. I've never really enjoyed hot food. Fruits are good, agreed. But again, every single type of fruit I enjoy. Like, whether or not it's just the flavoring of the fruit, like a banana flavored something, or if it's just a regular banana, I enjoy it all. I don't think that there's a fruit I've came across that I don't like. There's some that I have not tried just because of the accessibility from where I'm located. What about jalapeno poppers? Nope, missed me with that. I worked at Papa John's for 6.5 years, bro. I've seen how jalapeno poppers are made. Nope, I'm good. Now, I will say there is a version of jalapeno poppers that aren't jalapeno poppers, that are pepperoni poppers. Now, they're made the exact same way. You put the dough on, you put the dough down, you put the cream cheese down, and instead of filling it with jalapenos, you fill it with pepperoni. When it comes out of the oven, you put a little bit of garlic parmesan. Well, actually, before it goes into the oven, put a little bit of garlic parmesan on it. Then you sprinkle some mozzarella and some actual Parmesan cheese onto it. Then, when they come out of the oven, you put a little bit of Italian seasoning on them. That's the only thing I miss about working at Papa John's, because those aren't on the menu. You have to make them things yourself. That's a creation from yours truly. Well, actually, I got it from somebody, but I made it my own with all those things at the end. It was just a basic cream cheese, pepperoni filled popper, but now it's got a little bit more spice to it, got a little bit more flavor, a little bit more seasoning. Italian seasoning is probably one of my favorite, especially when it comes to pizza related things. If it's a cheese stick, like a cheese stick that you order from like a pizza shop, Italian seasoning has to go on it, in my opinion. Makes it 10 times better. You put a little bit of Italian seasoning on before you put it in the oven, and then once it comes out of the oven, you put a little bit more Italian seasoning on it. Oh my goodness. No, Shay, I know exactly what you mean, bro. I've made those day in and day out for years on end. It's dough flattened out with a layer of cream cheese spread on it, and then you put some jalapenos on it, and you cut them into little tiny bites. Trust me, I know exactly what you're talking about. Not my cup of tea at all. Not my cup of tea. No, they weren't fried. They were cooked in an oven on a conveyor belt. Papa John's doesn't fry anything. They don't have fryers at Papa John's. They only have an oven. Italian food is so good, including seasoning is goated. I cannot disagree with that. Cannot disagree with that whatsoever. Just a plain whole jalapeno and stuffing in it, cheese, not cooked, homemade. That doesn't sound very good to me. I gotta be honest with you. I mean, listen, if you like it, I'm not judging you. The only thing that matters is that you like it. But it's definitely not my cup of tea. That's for sure. I don't even like jalapenos, so. And the fact that it's not cooked has definitely turned me off from the fact of even trying it. Again, just my opinion. Listen, if you think it's good, then it's good. Again, I'm in no position to judge anyone for the food that they enjoy, nor would I ever judge anyone for the food that they enjoy, because, again, 9 times out of 10, you can't control the things that you enjoy and the things that you don't enjoy. Your taste buds, it's not like you get to decide what you like and what you don't like. Yes, your taste buds change every 7 years, and you're supposed to always be constantly trying that thing that you think that you don't like, because you never know, you might like it eventually. But again, it's not like you can just wake up one day and be like, yeah, I like broccoli today. Like, that's not how it works. Now, I know some people will willingly force feed themselves food that they don't enjoy because it's good for you. I'm not that kind of person. Luckily, God gifted me with a very high metabolism when I was young. And also, again, luckily, I've been gifted with no health issues. So you only have one life. I'm not going to waste it by eating things that I don't enjoy. If I'm going to eat food, I'm going to eat food that I enjoy, that puts a smile on my face. Simple as that. I'm not going to force feed myself some good food because it's good for me. That's not me. nor will it ever be me. Again, that's just my opinion. I know that that's not how everyone sees what goes on, and that's completely fine. But again, you have one life. I'm not gonna waste it. I'm not gonna waste it eating food I don't enjoy. I don't know if this sounds cocky or anything, but I wish I had a high metabolism. Why would that be cocky? I wish that my metabolism wasn't as high as it is. Because now, Shay, I can understand exactly where you're coming from, bro. Trust me, I've grown up with multiple friends who not necessarily have dealt with weight issues, but they would almost starve themselves for like days on end, and then the next day that they would eat, they just would gain 5 or 6 pounds. Yes, exactly what King just said. My entire life, I've been called skinny or tiny, and that I need to go eat a cheeseburger or go eat. And what most people fail to realize is that I probably eat more than any of those people who have said anything to me. The problem is that when you are already active, for one, you burn more calories than a person who's not active. And I would consider myself decently active. I don't go to the gym as much as I would like to anymore, but I still do work out at home. I do yoga. I go on runs. I ride my bike. I ride a longboard, etc., etc. Run around with the kids. Now I'm coaching basketball. So it doesn't help, on top of the fact that my metabolism is already pretty high, that I am somewhat active and I burn even more calories throughout the day. Now, I know that your metabolism constantly is changing, but the last time that I was actually given a test, my metabolism was, I believe, 2,500. Now, those of you who don't know what that means that on any given day, if not every single day, I would have to eat more than 2,500 calories to become at a baseline. So just by sitting on the couch watching TV all day, my body physically burns 2,500 calories every single day. Now, those of you who don't know, that's a decent amount of food, for one. And for two, I have a family. I'm the last one to eat. I'm the last one to get my food. I make sure the kids are fed. I make sure my fiance is fed. I make sure they're full. And then I'll get my food. I'm not the kind of person that needs to be fed first, especially if I'm the one making dinner. We are not a 1960s traditional household. I don't make anyone serve my plate. I get my own plate. I serve the kids. I serve my fiance. I'm the last one to take food, and I'm the first one to make sure that they get seconds. Now, have I been hungry before? Of course. But I think that that's the sacrifice that anyone goes through when you have a growing family and growing kids. Ultimately, they are what matter the most. I can go for multiple days on end and just completely forget to eat because I've either been so busy or I just haven't been in the mood to eat. That's not okay or legal, for one, for a kid. So in my eyes, that is what means the most to me, is their health and what they're consuming. So that's where I always have put my focus, especially after I've had kids. I eat more than my friend who admits he's like big, and even though I eat more and we're the same amount active, I can't gain weight. No, exactly. I mean, King, I don't know what your eating habits are like, but the thing that I've noticed more and more is that if you do have a decently high metabolism, the best way to try and get away, to not even get away from it, but the best way to try and gain weight is, instead of eating 2 or 3 or 4 big meals throughout the day, you would eat like 6 or 7 smaller meals. So you want to try and break it. Like, obviously it's a little bit harder for people who are always at work or always on the move, but even if it's just like a small protein in a veggie or a fruit, the more often you eat throughout the day, the less that the less work your metabolism actually has to do, and the less time it actually has to break down said food. I eat loads of snacks and smaller mini meals. Well, then there's the answer for it. But again, that is probably, at least from what I've done research on and people I've asked about that have been in similar situations to me that have put on muscle or put on weight, that is their main focus, is that instead of eating the 2 or 3 big meals throughout the day, they would eat 6 or 7 small meals to try and keep their body not only on the same habit, but to give their metabolism less time to work through the food that they've already ate. All right, Andres, have a good day. Enjoy your time. Enjoy your time. I made it. Also, you better damn eat, brother. Don't matter when, just eat. Hey, Jordan, I appreciate that. Unfortunately, I think we are missing... Give me one moment. I think we're missing... Yeah, we're going to pause the game real quick. I think we are missing our YouTube chats. So give me one moment. We're going to throw it to the Be Right Back screen. I think we're missing our YouTube chats on the chat board. So we need to fix that real quick. That's my fault, Jordan. I don't know if you're still in the stream. Hopefully you are, brother. I do appreciate you stopping in. I did not know that we had been missing chats, so that is my fault completely. Let me fix that real quick. Okay, we should be good now. Jordan, if you are still in the YouTube stream, please send a message to see if I can see it now, please. If not, actually I can send my own message. Yes. I am, don't you worry. Got here late, it's on me. Had to take the girl out to pick up her sister. Hey, all good, brother. All good. I appreciate you stopping in, Jordan. I can finally read your chats now, so we should not miss another message you send tonight. Trust that. We fixed the chat. I need to make sure, before we stream every day, I need to make sure that our streamer bot is connected to our YouTube account, because that is why we do miss chats sometimes, because our streamer bot does not connect instantly to our YouTube account. It connects instantly to our Twitch account, but for some reason sometimes I get logged out of my YouTube, so that's not ideal, obviously. But welcome in, bro. I appreciate you stopping. We're back. Technical difficulties are solved. It is 3:30 p.m. in game, so we've got 2 more hours until a good amount of our workers get off. Hopefully we can make a little bit of money off of them. We have almost 13,000 euros. We need about 26,000 if I remember correctly. We've got about an hour and some change left on the stream. We started with about 6,000 euros. We made 6,000 in about an hour. We might be able to reach our goal. I think we're going to have to start driving a little bit faster in between pickups, though. So instead of following the rules in between pickups, we're probably going to break the law so we can pick up our clients as soon as possible. Estefana, we're going to be there in just one moment. You called the right taxi cab. Trust that. Speeding ticket for 14 euros. I think we can take that. I think we can take the hit on the 14 euros. I think it's worth it to be able to get to our clients at the fastest possible time. This car is so fast. This car is so fast. I love it so much. I think we broke something, though. Yeah, we definitely broke something in the car. It is what it is. We'll fix it. This is Taxi Simulator. This is Taxi Simulator. The game is actually called Taxi Life, a city driving simulator, but yes. This is Taxi Sim.
Hey there.
This is Taxi Simulator. Alright. Let's get Estefana to her destination, and then I think we're going to have to repair the car. We're going to run that red light, actually. Sorry. Hopefully, if she wants to have a conversation, we can get her patience back up. We shouldn't have stopped there. We should have just kept driving. Should have just kept driving. Back from the ads. Hello. Welcome back, King. Welcome back. Glad to have you here. You just reminded me something. I do need to link my fiance's Amazon account to her Twitch account so she can drop that Prime sub. I keep forgetting. Also, those of you who do have Amazon Prime, can you please let me know, can you not Prime sub from a mobile app? Like, do you have to be on the browser of Twitch to use a Prime sub? Because that is what at least I was trying, that's what I was trying to do, but the only thing that I could find was spending money. It wouldn't give me the option to use the Prime sub. Now, it could be something I was doing wrong. I think you can. I have never tried, though. I mean, you guys would probably know more about it than me. But like I said, I tried for like 45 minutes the other night after we linked her Amazon and her Twitch. And for whatever reason, on the Twitch app on the mobile, it just was not giving me the option to use. I think I'm going to try the new farming sim tonight, give it a go, but this looks cool. Hey, Jordan, I've heard a lot about that farming simulator game. I've heard a lot about it. It looks pretty sweet. You should definitely, if this is your type of game, I think that you should definitely give it a look. I want to say it's 30, it's either 25 or 30 US dollars. There's some DLC that you can purchase, which is what we have on the Tesla right now. Got the Halloween edition with the Halloween wheels, and also we have the Skelly in the car with the Halloween upholstery in the Tesla. You can hire employees. They can work for you while you work. You can buy multiple cars. You can sell your old cars. You can customize the cars. It's a pretty chill game. I enjoy it a lot. It's more of a change of pace to what we usually do, which is, I think, why I like it so much, because we don't ever miss chats while playing this. We get to talk to you guys more and connect on a more personal level rather than always just having to try and keep the conversation running. It's a lot easier this way, in my opinion. There you are, Estefana. Have a good day. Enjoy your time in Barcelona. 4 stars. Meh. 43-euro tip. We could have gotten better. Slow off the line, Phil says. Alright, I got you, bro. Well, we need to go to the garage and fix the car, so let's go to the garage real quick and fix the car. Let's go to the garage real quick and fix the car. What do you think about this now? Huh? Who's slow now? Not me. Boom, boom, boom. Car's fixed. Back out on the track, on the city streets. Appreciate you stopping in though, Phil. Glad to have you here, man. I hate that I haven't been able to stop into your streams recently. Been really busy with basketball and just the house, trying to get ready for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and going through toys, going through clothes. We've been doing a lot of just like what most people would consider spring cleaning. Can you run from the cops? Unfortunately, no. I'll show you what happens if you really want, but I could literally rear end a cop and he's just gonna give me a ticket. I wish that they had that in this game. That would be much more fun. But no, they only give you a ticket. Alright, let's go pick up David. Bro, sometimes I don't expect you to reply and you will overtake someone and look up. I'm like, how? I'd be in the wall the moment I looked back at the road. No, I mean, we've definitely had situations like that where we've ended up crashing because we were trying to read chat. But also, that's something that I was always trying to prioritize from day one, is like, I want you guys to be as engaged as possible. We just crashed into that car. I want you guys to be engaged as possible, and obviously the best way to do that is for me to stay engaged with you guys as much as I physically can. Luckily, looking up is a little bit easier than what we had to do. Like, sometimes I can see out of the corner of my eye. Again, it's not the corner of my eye, but it's just through peripheral vision. Sometimes I can see when someone has sent a new chat, so it's a little bit easier that way. But, I mean, ultimately it just comes down to practice. I've been doing it for almost a year straight now, and when we first started, it was a lot harder for me to be comfortable. And also, just depending on what track and what area we are in terms of, like, F1, I usually know the best spots that we are able to look up, and also it just becomes muscle memory from not only the track but just looking up and always checking. Like, even when I'm not streaming, sometimes I'll end up looking up just mid-race, just because like it just becomes muscle memory of things that you get into the habit of doing, if that makes sense. Depends on the placement of chat as well. Oh, of course. And I do have my chat window pretty, I wouldn't say it's ginormous, but it takes up probably a third to maybe 2/3 of my vertical screen. Plus, it's sitting right at the bottom of my vertical screen is, well, the bottom of the chat is sitting at the very, very top of the monitor. So, like, that's where the new messages come in, is the bottom of the chat. At least for StreamerBot, because those of you who know that we do use StreamerBot to see our YouTube and our chat messages, our YouTube and our Twitch messages in the same area, which has made it so much easier. When we first were starting, it was a lot harder because we had 2 different YouTube chats open, and then we had the Twitch chat open. So every time I would look up, I would have to decide which chat to try and check. And sometimes, obviously, there wasn't always messages sent. Sometimes there was, and I would miss other ones because I would choose the wrong chat. This makes it a lot easier because it's all consolidated into one place, and it just becomes like, it just tells me on the side of your name what platform you're on. So, like, I can see what platform you're on depending on when you type a message, but it's still all in the same area, so it's a lot easier for me to read that way than it is to read 3 different chats at one time. Speeding too much. We just lost a lot of patience for that. All right, David, come on. Let's have a conversation. Give me some of your patience back. Let's have a conversation. No, that's what I think I want most out of the new Taxi Simulator game that we've brought up multiple times. The one that's based in New York. We're going to be driving a Crown Vic in that game. I don't know.
I'm so
Yes.
grateful for taxis.
He wants to have a
My legs
conversation.
are extremely sore.
What'd you work
Sounds
out?
like you had a good workout day.
Ooh, what'd you work out today?
I went for a long
Oh,
walk through the
whatever.
city.
Walking is a great way to exercise.
He's got his
Even if
woman
it's
with
tiring
him.
at first.
Maybe one day.
He's got his
I'll be able
woman
to
with him.
walk around the city without any trouble.
He's got his woman with him. Trying to impress her. I respect it. Well, he picked the right taxi company. I knew you were going to say that, Shay. I was just waiting for it. Those of you who are new to the Taxi Life game or new to the stream, Shay, a longtime supporter of the channel, always likes to say that the gentleman in the back, David, looks very similar to us if he would ever stop moving. Now, I don't know where the lookalike comes in. I don't know if it's the gray hair. I don't know if it's the face. I don't know if it's his nose. That person just tried to cut me off. That was crazy work right there. Ooh. Where is this one based? New York traffic would be insane. This is based in Barcelona, Spain. But yeah, no, I think that's what I am most excited about is not only will the traffic be a lot more dense and just it'll be more of a thing that I understand because, okay. King says he sees it. Jordan says True Shay's on the nose with that one. Not gonna lie. All right, we'll give you guys that. Whatever. I mean, it's not like he's a bad looking dude. Looks like he's got style. He's got a green polo up, green button up on. His color is his neck's coming through his color a little bit. That's a little concerning, but other than that, can't really complain much. Her shirt almost matches the upholstery, and honestly, the color is super similar. He is wearing the same shirt in somewhat of the same shirt, at least. Mine is not a button-up. It's just a sweatshirt, but it is definitely the same color, that's for sure. At least, if it's not the same exact color, it's pretty similar. It's you in 40 years. Now, I'll give you that, maybe. The wrinkles, yes. I don't know if we have 40 years before we go gray. I've already got multiple gray hairs on my head now. And I know that once one comes in, it's usually just a bombardment of gray hairs that start to flood in. So we're probably like, I don't know, maybe when I'm like 30, I'll probably end up with a full set of gray hair. I'm not even lying about that either. I'm being 100% genuine. I've had gray hair since I was a senior in high school. And that's 100% genuine. Like, I'm not trying to be funny in any way at all. That is sincere and genuine in all the same sentence. What do you mean you have full white hair now, bro? Don't hate. Don't hate, Shay. My hair's luscious. I'm like a border collie up here. I'm like a border collie up here. You guys are jealous. This is like a golden retriever. Y'all are jealous. You wish you had hair like this. You wish you had hair like this. We just wasted all that conversation because we were speeding talking about our hair. Bro is defo and unk. All right. Chill with that, please. Whoa. Pantsuit lady almost got her life taken. Look, we got Wiz Khalifa. Black and yellow, black and yellow. We got Wiz Khalifa there. Shay says, got me there. Listen, I've always had nice hair, bro. That's something that I will never not enjoy. I've always had good hair. I've always tried to take care of my hair. I use, I don't want to say it's female shampoo, but I don't use a 2-in-1 or a 3-in-1 on my hair or my face. I've always used like the nicer shampoo that like mostly women use, mostly because I grew up with a single mom, but just because it gives your hair more volume, gives your hair more moisturizer. The only thing I will say is I do have 2 different kinds of shampoos. One I use in the winter months because my hair does get a little dandruffy just because of the area that we live in. But I also have a summer shampoo that is like
Thanks.
more of a
Have a nice day.
moisturizing like cleanser. Take the gray over balding. Ha ha ha. My hairline is fighting its own battles. Turkey's in my future. Oh, goodness. That one was good, Jordan. That one was good, bro. I'll give you that for sure. All right, we're at 16,000 euros. We need about 10,000 more. We've gotten paid from 3 employees. I want to say we have 5 more employees still working today. Benito is a medium distance for 1,300. And Alejandra is a long distance for 1,900. Who do we take? Who do we take? Who do we take? Or we could take Soledad, a short distance for 869. Intriguing, intriguing, intriguing. I think it's between Soledad and Benito. Y'all make the decision. First name I see in chat is the customer we're picking up. King says turkey's in his future as well. Luckily, I don't think that, like I said, I'll show you. I'll get real close. Luckily, I don't think that we're anywhere near turkey yet. I do have a little bit of widow's peak going on up here, but that's mostly just because of how I style my hair. I don't even think it's real widow's peak. I think, again, it's mostly just how I style my hair, which I don't think. I mean, I'm not saying I'll never change my hairstyle, because that's probably absurd to say. But my dad is bald, my granddad is bald, everyone in my family's bald. It's not a good look. Hey, some people can pull it off, bro. Some people can pull it off. My father is 49. He just turned 49 this year. No, actually he turned 50 this year, and he still has a decent amount of hair. Like, I mean, I say decent. He's definitely losing his hair, but again, he's not also made the best decisions in life, which can definitely affect your hair growth and your hair length in terms of how long it's on your head. Again, being incarcerated does not give you the best option of shampoo or cleaning product, period. So that right there is a big difference, and not only where I could see, but just where it does hurt him a lot, because obviously you can't get the same kind of product that you can in everyday life behind bars. That's just, I mean, if you don't know that, then yeah, incarcerated, it means locked up. Like, he's behind bars. He's in prison. It's just a better way of saying. It's just a nicer, more gentleman way of saying locked up. Like, that's I guess that's the way you could put it. He's not in jail, he's in prison, but I mean, it's somewhat similar. Most of the time, prison is a little bit more, I don't want to say it's more lenient, because it's still prison, but most of the time, jail is used as like a holding facility, or for people that haven't been fully booked into whatever crime they've committed or whatever thing that they've done. Whereas prison is more of that's where you go to serve your sentence and where you actually like spend your time. Whereas like jail is more of like like I said, it's more of like a holding cell where you are waiting for your court date and waiting for your arraignment, etc., etc. Whereas prison, even most prisons in my state at least, are a little bit more lenient than like a jail in your city or your town, because of just the amount of people who are in it, but also just the respect level of those people who are in it. For whatever reason, people in prison tend to respect the system more than people who are in jail. Probably because of the situations that they've been in and the things that they've seen. But that's just what I've seen firsthand experience personally. So, that's all. That's what I've got to say about that. That's my TED Talk for the day. If you don't mind me asking, what did he do? It's not that I mind asking. I've talked to him multiple times about talking about his choices that he's made on stream. I never have thought that they were my choices to share. Now, there are experiences that I've been a part of course. That person is literally just walking back and forth, glitching through cars. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. It is something I've experienced, obviously, because he's my father, and him being my father, I've seen firsthand what it can do or what it affects someone in their life. He's told me that I can share because, again, it's something I've experienced. It's not my choice that I made, but it's something that I experienced and something that I could at least connect to other people who have similar experiences. Long story short, it was hard drugs. I mean, that's the best way to put it. I'm not going to say what drugs they were. Let's just say that he was around the wrong people, made some of the wrong decisions, and he is very, I don't want to say he's easily convinced, but when you're only around those kind of people, and those are the only people that you spend your time with and that you're actually conversing with as an adult. Obviously, me being a kid, it's hard talking to your kid about real life things because, for one, you don't want them to understand the struggles that you're dealing with, but you don't want them to see that you're human, because every kid sees their father as a superhero until they don't. So naturally, you don't want to talk to your kid about, even if it's just everyday life struggles like work struggling or money problems, whatever the situation may be. But yes, it has always been hard drugs since I was a child. I mean, he's been in and out of jail and prison since I was in kindergarten. I can't remember exactly when he was incarcerated this most recent time. I want to say that he was incarcerated in 2022. So it's been about 2 years. No, 2021, I think, actually. I have a very hard time with timing. I do know that unless he's able to get early release or good behavior time shaved off, the soonest I'll be able to see him not in a jail or a prison is probably likely to be 2026, which obviously sucks. I don't know what you would consider regular. I answer every single time he calls, no matter what. The only thing about a situation like that is, it does kind of suck because I can't reach out to him. There is an app that I have that I can message him. The only downside to that is that I have to have money in the account at all times to send him messages. He can message me whenever he is able to be on the computer, but I can't message him back unless I deposit money. Somewhat similar, just like how they purchase food and how they purchase commissary and how they have phone conversations. It's money on the books, money on whatever the word of that app in person is using. I would say we were talking once every week. He would call me every Friday for a good bit. Again, it's always just depending on the situation, depending on if he's got enough money to feed himself and still get a hold of the people. Because obviously he has his own siblings. He's got his lawyer. Like, I'm not the only person that he talks to. He talks to both of my sisters as well. Unfortunately, my brother does not answer his phone, just because they've not had the best relationship. It is not his biological father, but they've had their own problems and their own issues that they've now gotten through and dealt with. But still, it's a lot harder on the inside trying to talk to someone when they won't give you that time of day, because there's no other choice that you can do besides waste another call in hopes that they answer. So that's why I will always answer the phone. Not only that, but just because we talk about everything and anything, because often I don't blame the person that much because they get addicted. Addiction is a very powerful thing, regardless of if it's drugs or food or gambling. Addiction is a extremely powerful and damning thing that can change a person's life, no matter what the situation is, whether it's drugs, gambling. People are addicted to food, people are addicted to shopping, people are addicted to gaming. Like, you can get addicted to anything, realistically, and everyone has their own, whether or not it's a good or a bad addiction. Anything that starts out good can become bad. See, I know we just broke the law crazy there, but I'm not waiting for all those cars to finally decide to press the gas. I don't have that kind of patience. We lost a lot of patience for Benito, but I mean, what would he rather have done? Sit there for 10 minutes in traffic or get to the destination? That's just my opinion. But no, I try and talk to him as much as I physically can. Every time he calls, I'll answer. We talk about anything and everything, whether or not it's pastime and just when he was my coach in baseball, or when we were growing up in life. What do they want us to hit, a U-turn? we also just talk about my life currently, my kids, my fiance. Unfortunately, he has not met my fiance in person. That is something that I would love to happen. Uh, he just hasn't met her. That's nothing I can change right now. And unfortunately, with the rules of the prison, she wouldn't be able to go with me until we are married, which obviously sucks. But I digress. I don't want to spend all night harping on it, but of course, if you have any questions about just what happened or how I think about it now or how I used to think about it, I'm more than happy to talk about it or answer any questions that you guys have. I've been in therapy for 4 years. I don't do therapy anymore, not only for that situation, but just because I went through a lot in high school, and I lost 3 of 4 of my grandparents within a 2-year time frame. Both my father's mother and his father passed away in 2016 in the same year. I believe it was about 8 months apart. And then my grandfather on my mom's side passed away in 2017, early 2017, shortly after my grandfather passed away on my father's side. Being as I was young and impressionable, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents growing up, so it affected me pretty heavily. And not to mention, I was one of those people in that room when my grandfather took his last breath and when my grandmother took her last breath, and that's not something that I would ever wish on my worst enemy. It definitely changed the way that not only do I see life, but just changed the outlook that I had on my life, because again, that's not something I would ever wish on my worst enemy, even if they were trying to harm me. I mean, especially at the age that I was, I had already been through, I was already going through so many things, like trying to discover my own self and discover what I wanted to do with my life, and still dealing with puberty and all these other things that the everyday teenager goes through, and then losing 3 of my grandparents. It definitely puts a toll on you, and I don't want to say that there's an excuse for anything, because there never is. No matter what your kind of role in life or what your growing up or upbringing was, there's never any excuse for how you treat other people. I would always give people the benefit of the doubt, but I would always look back and try and see it from their perspective, because you never know why someone made the decision that they have. This person's trying to get us to run them over, I swear. Give me 1 second. I'll read that in just 1 second, Jordan. Did your dad's choices make any impact on the relationship you've had with other people? Like, for example, was it rumor in school that pushed friends from you? I wouldn't say that it necessarily pushed friends from me. It was more or less a situation where their parents were the ones that didn't want them around me because of either where I lived or the people that were around my life, because ultimately, once you have someone in your life like that, everyone becomes judgmental and saying that they all must be like that. I don't think that I've ever lost friends over it. Luckily and unluckily, a lot of my closest friends in life have dealt with the same experience, whether or not their parents were locked up for a lot of times, but they've been involved in hard drugs or alcohol. And I'm not saying that alcohol is extremely bad. I'm just saying that when you are extreme alcoholic, it can definitely be compared to a drug addict in my eyes. That's always the way I've seen it, especially because they both can have the same negative effect on your body and your life, just the same. So I've never seen them, and obviously they are in a different light, but I've never seen them from like point A to point B as some people do, because again, some people will see someone smoking anything and say that they shouldn't be around anybody, but when they have a family get together or they have a party night and their kids are all around, they're getting hammered on alcohol, and in my eyes that's the same thing as everyone else. Like, you're intoxicating yourself regardless of what you're choosing. It's still intoxication regardless. That's just my opinion on it. When it comes to personal relationships, like previous intimate relationships with past girlfriends, etc., I do think that it has caused trust issues. But again, that's one of the things that I've learned from therapy, is that it's not only trust issues, but it's almost like you want to believe in the fact that they want to do the best for them. And unfortunately, that isn't always the case for someone, because it takes a really long time to understand how you are affecting someone with the choices you're making. And most people won't see that until they've already affected you in a negative way, which is, again, unfortunate, but that's just the sad truth of what it is. Again, personally, I don't think I've ever lost friends, like close friends, over it. Unfortunately, most of them I've seen and been a part of the same experiences that I've been a part of, so we all can kind of connect and bond on that level. But I think that I've definitely had issues and things come up in a personal relationship with an ex-girlfriend or someone who is even a friend that I would have my own doubts about or my own problems with, that isn't anything that was on them, but it was being projected onto them because that was the only thing that I understood at the time. Again, I owe a lot to therapy. I never thought that therapy was going to be for me, mostly just because growing up, when you hear about therapy, most of the time, a lot of therapists, their first plan of action would just be to put you on some sort of medication to either drown out your emotions or to prevent you from feeling those emotions. I've never been one to want to take any kind of medication. I'm not saying that if you do take medication, you should feel some type of way. I'm just saying, me personally, I've never been one to want to wake up in the morning and have to take a pill to feel like me. I would rather have to face those demons and try and battle through my own struggle, so that way when I do eventually overcome that, I can wake up and be myself from day one without having to have any kind of supplement or any kind of extra side effect added on to my life, if that makes any sense. One thing I will say is that, what therapy taught me the most is, I think that there's no reason to hold a grudge or to be angry. I spent a lot of my years growing up angry at my dad, not only from the choices that he made, but just because I'm getting pretty deep with y'all right now, I can't lie. And I mean, if you guys want me to stop, I will. But growing up, it sort of felt like if it was, I hate to say it like this, but I mean, this is really the way that I used to think. It almost felt like it was either me or drugs, and obviously getting locked up, we all know what the choice was, but again, it's not at all what the situation was. But growing up and seeing it, trying to see it black and white, that's the way that I had picked up from it, and that's not at all what the situation is. Again, most of the time it does come down to addiction. It is one of the most addicting and powerful things in this world. It can change a person's life for good and for worse. This is great. I just didn't want to interject too much as you go through thought. I appreciate that. If it ever gets too much, please just let me know. I will completely back down. But again, the thing that I think my therapist taught me the most is that it's not healthy to hold a grudge, especially on someone that truly does care for you. And I know my father does love and care for me beyond this world, and would do anything and put his life on the line for me if it came down to it, which is something I understand now. But again, growing up, it almost felt like, I don't want to say it, but it almost felt like I wasn't good enough to be like better than the drugs, is kind of how I would feel growing up, especially like as a younger kid, trying to see like all of the friends that weren't necessarily like acquaintances, I guess I should say acquaintances, who had their family that was present and around. Obviously, I mean, my dad was still present. He was still there every time he could be, and every time that he was able to be. Like I said before, he was my baseball coach for a long, long time. He is the reason that I fell in love with baseball. He's the reason that I was half the player that I was, and he is the reason that I am a good part of the reason that I am the man today that I am. Obviously, he's not the only one that changed that. Everyone in your life has a determining factor on who you might become, depending on how much you believe them or how much you listen to them and take their word for what it is. Growing up, though, me and my father look very similar. Our genes are extremely strong. Those of you who, if any of you have seen my son, he looks exactly like me, and my grandfather the same. Our genes are extremely strong. So from the day I was old enough to understand what a conversation was, most people would call me by my father's name, or Johnny Jr. Those of you who don't know, my father's name is John. And obviously, growing up, you don't want to be someone else. Like, you want to be your own person, especially growing up as a kid, regardless of the area that you grow up in or the people that you grow up around. You want to be your own person. You want to be like called by your own name. You want to be respected in your own sense and not have to be given the, well, his dad's a hothead, he must be a hothead. Like, that's never and I am close to a hothead. I'm not trying to deny that at all. I do have my own issues with anger and my own problems, but again, therapy has helped change that a lot. But I think that was probably my main focusing factor when I was growing up, is that I never wanted people to compare me and him for the choices that we made. So I've always wanted to stay away from those kind of people and those kind of situations. I'm not saying that I've not been around those people, because obviously you end up around people that you don't want to be around just by either acquaintances or just by sheer luck or just at a party. The thing I think is the biggest is peer pressure, obviously. It almost becomes like a cool thing to do drugs or drink. I never had even tried alcohol until I turned 21. That might not sound crazy to some of you, but the legal age in the United States is 21. Most people growing up, and I would say probably after like freshman year, most people are going to parties and drinking and getting drunk when obviously we all know they shouldn't be. But again, I'm extreme introvert. I don't like going out. I don't like going to other places. I've only been to a bar twice. Both times I was at the bar was with my current fiance. I've only ever had one fiance, so I don't know why I said current. I've only been to the bar twice, both in my local town, both with my fiance on the same night. And the only main reason why we went to the first bar was to shoot pool, or billiards as some of you would call it. There is a couple good pool tables in some of the bars in my town. And that's the only reason why I would frequent those areas. But again, if we were growing up together and you wanted to spend time with me or around me, you had to come to my house. And I don't want to say it like that, but I mean, that's really what it was, because not only am I more comfortable in my home, but my mom was more comfortable having people at her home, knowing that she was the one not only in control of the situation, but just being able to monitor the situation and see if we were doing things that we shouldn't have been doing, which I don't think we ever were. But most of the time growing up, it was never fun or intriguing to me to go to someone's party. Like, I guess you can consider what I had parties, but we wouldn't like drink and get drunk and do all those other things. We would just be playing like Madden tournaments or like 2K tournaments, or we would play like UFC and do fighting tournaments all night long, or we would literally just run around the house just doing wrestling matches or like bothering each other. It's just like everyday teenage boy stuff. I mean, we were running 2K matches and tournaments at my house up until we were in senior year, and the only reason we really stopped that is because my mom wasn't really at the house anymore. It was really just me by myself home alone, and obviously with that being the case, I didn't want to invite a bunch of people over to try and be at the house, because I didn't want her to feel some type of way that I was taking advantage of the trust that she had given me, or taking advantage of the fact that she's given me freedom as a senior in high school.
How long till we arrive?
It shouldn't take long.
That's great. I have a busy schedule and I really need to be on time.
Yeah, well, maybe you should give me a good tip
It's
then.
tough to balance everything.
My week has been hectic.
been drunk
I never
before,
seem to
not
have enough free
purposeful.
time.
I accidentally drank my mom's vodka lemonade instead of normal lemonade.
Sometimes it's
And I
better
don't
to
see
slow
why people get
down.
drunk, especially like at parties.
I completely
I
agree.
don't think I've ever actually
My
been
life
drunk.
moves too fast.
The day I turned 21, my mom took me to the casino, and I did have a couple drinks. I didn't enjoy any of them. When I'm drinking something, I want to enjoy the flavor and the taste of something. I've still not found an alcohol or any type of alcoholic beverage that I enjoy the taste of, so I just won't drink it. That's just me. The only other time I've been even somewhat close to drunk was at my best friend's wedding, and that was for obvious reasons. The only reason that I did partake was because, for one, it was his wedding, and for two, I stopped drinking way, way, way early in the night. There's no way you don't like Twisted Tea. I hate Twisted Tea. That's what my brother drinks. That's what my cousin drinks. Twisted Tea is disgusting, bro. I don't like raspberry. I don't like the half and half. I don't like original. I don't like any Twisted Tea at all, period. If you want to know real, like, legit, there's only one type of alcohol that I've enjoyed, and I don't even really enjoy it. It's just the only one that I can stomach and bear, and it's straight shots of Tito's. Period. That's the only thing that I can actually enjoy drinking. I've tried wine. I've tried, like you said, I've tried Twisted Tea. I mean, that's what my cousin and my brother pretty much were drinking the entire time I was around them. I don't think that I've tried any sort of beer or like that type of IPA, or I've never tried any of those things and enjoyed the flavor of them, and I just won't drink it at that point. It's not my cup of tea. I don't want to drink it. Give me sweet tea. That's my cup of tea. I do honestly think it's probably just a taste of alcohol. I don't enjoy it. Not saying that that's a bad or a good thing for anybody. I'm just saying that that's my genuine opinion. I just don't partake. That's just my opinion. And I mean, if you like drinking, if you like to have your own time, I'm not judgmental in any way. A lot of my family and a lot of my close family members, like my cousins and my brother, they enjoy to drink. They don't do it nearly as much as what they used to, which I applaud and am very appreciative of, not only for their own health, but just for everyday life, because it can really ruin not only your body health, but just the way that you see life. But again, I mean, to each their own. Everyone has their own vices. Everyone has their own things that they're addicted to. I've always been somewhat addicted to gaming in the sense. Ever since I was old enough to pick up a controller. This is where I spend my pastime. This is where I spend my free time on a Friday night. Like, most people my age, even the ones that have kids that are my age, are still going out and drinking all Friday night at the bars and bar hopping. And I mean, those of you in the stream right now, you know what we do on Friday nights. We go live on Friday nights and we stream, and we spend our time either F1 racing, WRC racing. Like, it's not my cup of tea. I've never enjoyed being out at a party. I've never enjoyed being out at a bar. And again, the fact that I don't drink, a lot of people become an entirely different person when they are drunk. I'm about to buy the game. How you liking it? Is it worth it? Luca, welcome in. Appreciate you stopping by. I enjoyed a lot. I've been playing Taxi Life for a while now. I enjoyed a lot. It's peaceful. I mean, it's a little bit of a different change of pace compared to like F1 or like a WRC. The only car we have left to purchase is the Mercedes. You hire your employees, expand your business. I enjoy that a lot. Just ordered my first wheel, so excited to get into it. Hey, I appreciate. Well, hopefully you enjoy it, brother. What wheel did you purchase, if you don't mind sharing? There's no way you don't like Twisted Tea. Best drink is Pepsi and Spice Rum. Only had this because I thought it was my uncle's normal Pepsi. I'm just shocked because that's normally the go-to for people who hate the taste of alcohol, but I'll drink a few Twisteds. But I'm not a hard liquor or shots person, so Tito's would kill me. Reasonable. Reasonable. The Moza R3. Yo, Cray, what's good, brother? Welcome in. Appreciate you stopping by. Also, glad to hear that you did, that you got your Moza R3, Luca. If you are new to the stream, consider hitting that follow button. It would appreciate and help me out on the Twitch channel. And also, if you have not used that free Twitch Prime sub, of course, I would be more than thankful and appreciative if you were to use that free Twitch Prime sub on me. You would go ad-free on the Twitch channel, and you would unlock your emotes that we have for the channel. Also, if you are interested, join the Discord, ! Discord. We have some giveaways posted, not run by me. They're run by other companies. Moza is running a giveaway. There's a PS5 Pro giveaway. There's a Steam Deck giveaway. There's a Logitech G Pro setup series giveaway. Situations like that. Thank you for the follow, brother. I appreciate you. Cray, this game works. So how it works is we drive around the city of Barcelona. We pick up customers. We take them to their destination. We can either hold conversations depending on if they're engaging or not, or they choose to stay quiet. We follow the speed limits. We can go anywhere from 5 over to 6 over depending on where you are and what the speed limit is. I've been playing Truck Sim for a while with keyboard, but it's low-key not the same, so I decided to get a wheel. Yeah, that's crazy. Truck Sim with a keyboard. You'll definitely enjoy the game. You'll definitely enjoy both games a lot more with a wheel. That's for sure. And Jordan, I understand that completely. Like if it's a sporting event, or if you guys are watching a football game, or just out watching a fight, like, trust me, I get it. I get it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. Enjoy your time. Again, you only live once. If that's what you enjoy to do, enjoy it. Don't let anyone judge you, as long as you're taking care of yourself and taking care of the people who love you and you love around you. That's ultimately what matters the most. Truck Sim on keyboard is mad. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy work right there. But yeah, I have a good feeling that you'll enjoy both games a lot more with the wheel. Not only with the control that you have, but just with the actual feeling like you're really driving. But no, I enjoy this game a lot. I think the main reason I enjoy it is because it is such a different change of pace from like an F1, which is what we normally play on stream. The other thing I think I enjoy the most is that it is somewhat of a simulator game, which I don't usually get to partake in just because they don't follow our channel, like where we want to go in terms of growing our channel. This one obviously makes a little bit more sense just because it's driving related, so it makes more sense to me to run this one than it does like as we were talking about earlier, like a farming simulator, because I know nothing about farming, for one, and for two, I don't know if you guys would even be interested in something like that. Not saying that you wouldn't be, but that's just something that is a little bit different from what we're already trying to go towards, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Got about 45 minutes left on stream. Teresa is our next customer. We have 24,000 euros. We need 26,000 to get the Mercedes. And then obviously we have to drive the car for at least a little bit, so we can't just buy the car and then not drive it. That's just silly. Hopefully they add more Taxi Life, like new cities and stuff. I've heard the game is relatively new. It is somewhat new. It did come out in 2024. I will say, though, if you haven't purchased the game yet, there is a game that is supposed to be... I don't know if they've released it, if they've put out a release date for it yet. This one, obviously, as you know, is based in Barcelona, Spain. Obviously, yeah, I got to drive it. Yeah, of course. We can't just buy the car and then be done with the game. We got to drive it and see what it feels like. Come on now. But no, the feeling of a wheel is so cool when you first get it. Agreed. Very much agreed. Taxi just went philosophical. Hey, we're always a little bit philosophical around here. Look at this. This is what I love about this car. Look at that. Look at that braking. Do you see that? We might run out of gas. Well, not gas, but whatever you want to call it. Electricity, electric power. I don't care what you want to call it. however you want to determine whatever the power is in this car. And the garage is right here too. Oh, we got a flat tire. You're crazy, bro. We got a flat tire. No shot. No shot. Alright, we're gonna tow ourselves to the gas station then. Get me to the gas station. What were you saying about some game? Okay, yeah, back to the game. There is a new game supposed to be coming out sometime soon. Again, I don't know the exact
That
release
escalated
date.
quickly.
It did escalate quickly, that's a fact. I don't know the exact release date on said game, but it is called just Taxi Simulator. It's supposed to be based in New York City. It seems a little bit different than this. I do think that that one could be a little bit more in depth in terms of what you can do and what you're able to actually like do in the game than this one. This is more of an indie style game of is this car not even turning? This is more of an indie style of game where they have I don't want to say very few people working on the game, but there's a lot less people working on the game than the like average developers. So I think that that changes a lot. The game is still really, really enjoyable. Don't get me wrong at all. I'm not trying to say that it is not. The thing that I think the other game will have on this is that it seems like it will be more interactive with the customers. And I think that that's my biggest gripe with this game. It seems more goofy-esque than realistic, but still fun. Oh, no, it definitely is goofy. It definitely is goofy, that's for sure. The only thing that I think I don't like about this game specifically, I mean, this is one of them right here. The fact that sometimes the panels don't even work. Like, we're spamming our A button, and we can't get into the car wash for some reason. Doesn't make me exactly the happiest camper in the world. Like, I'm spamming the A button at this point. I live in New York City, so excited to see what they do with it. Yeah, you should look it up for sure. It's called, it's just called Taxi Simulator. And it has the Ford Crown Vic as a picture. Oh, okay, so you were talking about the Taxi Sim. I got you. Do I play F1 Open Lobbies or Apex? King, why don't you play some Apex, bro? Let me know how you... I've had it wishlisted LMS since like a few months ago. So it sounds like we've been pretty much in the same category in terms of that. But no, the thing I think that that game will have over this is that there could be potential to like have the police chases and have it be a little bit more, not necessarily sim-like, but more interaction with the customers, more conversation with the customers. This game definitely, I mean, ever since it came out, they've gotten a lot better on the conversationist. Like, you can have at least 5 or 6 throughout like a 3 or 4 hour playtime of the game. Whereas when the game first came out, and you can ask any of the people who have been here since day one, like Shay or King, when the game first came out, we would run a 3.5 hour stream, and we would have 1 or 2 conversations, maybe the entire stream. Whereas now, it's like every 3 or 4 people we pick up, we have a conversation. Whereas it's still, you don't get to choose like your own responses, which, I mean, there's only so much the game can do. How do we turn our lights on again? I forget. Whoopsies. There we go. I was going to say we forgot to turn our lights on. Not great. How many people do we still have working right now? It's 9 p.m. When's our last employee clock off? I'm having a hard time remembering. Does anyone remember when our employee clocks off? When our last employee clocks off, I should say. Look at that. Oh, I thought we were going to be able to slide through. I thought we were going to be able to slide through. We almost did, too. Sorry, I know I'm changing the... Yeah, probably I agree. This game seems more like what you were saying, small dev team indie game. Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy it at all. Because it's still really, really fun. I still have a good time playing the game a lot. But I do think that it's more of an indie style of like they tried to put out as many updates as they can. Granted, there hasn't been many updates. They have done some changes in the past that they've listened to the community, like the pedestrians used to be worse than they are, where they would intentionally walk out in front of your car trying to get you to hit them. The actual AI cars were a little bit worse when the game first came out. They would cut you off, drive in front of your car, slam on the brakes. Now, I do enjoy the fact that there's like sometimes you can run into parades where the traffic jams are crazy. Are you playing on low graphics, or does it just look like that? I believe I'm playing on low graphics. For whatever reason, the game does take up a lot of... I can actually double check for you. The game takes up a lot of not only CPU space, but GPU space for whatever reason. And again, I think that's mostly because it is... See, like you can turn road work on, you can turn a parade on, you can change the spawn rate for those events. You can change the spawn rate for like collisions, so it blocks like 1 or 2 lanes of traffic. You can turn them on or off. You can change to where you don't get flat tires ever, to where they can't request the AC to be turned on for the wipers to be turned on. You can change it to where the bugs can't get on your car. You can make it to where once they sit down in your taxi, they can't change the destination on you. You can turn off broken car lights. You can turn up the car event spawn rate. We're going to do that to 1.5 actually. You can change the density multiplier. This is things that they've added, which I haven't realized. I just now realized some of these things. We are going to change the car event spawn rate though, just to try and add a little bit more spice to the game. Let's go to system settings. Scroll down. Yeah, we're running pretty much everything on low besides the view distance we have on medium. And again, that's mostly because we're streaming the game. But when we first started, what was the mess of cars? What was the mess of cars before when you were driving? There was like 10 cars turned on an angle blocking 2 lanes. You mentioned they needed to pull forward. Is that a parade or a traffic jam? That was actually just the AI being ignorant. So that wasn't either one of the parade or traffic jam. So you can actually see, I think, yeah, here, right down here is the parade. It's like it'll show you the parade is here. I'm assuming you could run it at full because you have. Yeah, I could run it at full, but again, it's more for the. It was more for the CPU when you don't like when you're at the main screen and you're not in the game. It takes a lot of CPU percentage for some reason. Again, I think that's mostly just because it's IndyCar related. Like, this is what a parade would look like. So, like, if we go down this road, we're likely to get into a traffic jam. This is a traffic incident. So, like, someone crashed their car, and the cops are there trying to assume it, run it back up. Sometimes the traffic lights don't work, which they'll tell you, like, traffic light in front of you isn't working properly. Doesn't look like we're in the vicinity of any accidents right now, so I can't show you exactly what they look like, but that's pretty much the gist of it, is that it will show you, like, a parade's happening this day. It can get very congested, so just be warned. So I typically try to stay away from those areas because I think traffic's already pretty crazy. 21 euro on the speeding ticket. Do you know any other simulator games besides like Truck Sim that are good? There's a couple that I've watched that I am very interested in. There's one that is super interesting to me. It's called Storage Hunter Simulator. You pretty much run around as like a storage hunter. Like you go and bid on storage units and you try and progress through the game. And as you get farther through the game, the storage units get better. There's 3 different areas of city that you can traverse through. There's also 3 different cars. That game's very, very new, so it's pretty. I don't know if there's going to be updates in the future, or if there's going to be something that they change. Another one that is on the top of my head that is really cool. I don't know if this one is released yet. It may still be in early access, but it's like Motel Manager Simulator, and pretty much it's exactly what it sounds like. You run a motel. You have to go through and like design the rooms and give these people like you have to take their laundry and give them food, and they might cause a fire and you have to go in and run and turn the fire out. I mean like car simulator games. I mean you didn't specify. I will say that. You didn't specify, so I was just guessing. Simulator car games that I've heard of. Ren Sport I know is supposed to come out sometime in 2025. It's supposed to be free to play. I don't know if it's going to be open world or if it's going to be like just motorsport racing, like just track racing. But it is supposed to be free to play. It's called Ren Sport, RENN Sport. It looks really interesting in my opinion. It being free to play, I have to check it out and give it my own opinion and let you guys know, of course, what I think. I don't think that there's a release date planned on that yet. I might be wrong about that, but I still think that they're trying to iron out some of the issues. You said that you've already played Trucking Simulator. That's probably one of the most popular ones that there is. I know that there's a mechanic simulator, which is obviously a little bit different. It's like repairing cars. So it's not exactly the same. Feels like there's a lack of sims. It's mostly racing games. It definitely is. Definitely is. I mean, there's only a couple I can think of off the top of my head. Truck driving simulator, a snow runner. I don't know if snow runner's a simulator, but my brother played snow runner a lot. I'm pretty sure there's mud runner, snow runner, and something else. I can't think of the other one, but he enjoyed those games a lot. Shay just said BeamNG. That's another great one that is talked about quite frequently. But I want to say that Snow Runner and Mud Runner are somewhat simulator. I've never played. I don't know personally. That's more of something that you have to ask my brother who's not here right now. I don't know off the top of my head exactly how they work. I just know that he enjoyed that game a lot. Both Snow Runner and Mud Runner. I'm trying to think of other simulating car games that I've heard of or that I've stumbled across. I mean, I don't know if Assetto Corsa Plus Mods is also another one that you could potentially look into, depending on if you have a computer or if how much you really want to dive into the mods, because obviously the more mods that you put into the game, the better the game can be. I will say that I believe sometime in January of next year, Assetto Corsa Evo is supposed to come out. I don't know for sure if they've announced yet if it's going to be open world or only track racing. I believe it's going to be open world and track racing. That is one of the games that I'm probably most excited for, is Assetto Corsa Evo. Not only just because it's the next installment in the Assetto Corsa line, but because I think that they have some of the better racing games, including not only just the mods, but just the attention to detail and the fact that they listen to the community when it comes to everyday things about the game. Yeah, Assetto Corsa Evo does look sick. I agree with you. I agree with you, King. I'm excited for it. I'm hoping to get my money up and not my funny up by January, so that way we can get it running. Again, I still am interested in Planet Coaster 2. That is definitely still on the wish list. That could be something that maybe your boy ends up getting for Christmas. Maybe we start a Planet Coaster 2 thing after Christmas. I'm not saying that. Obviously, I know some of you have probably watched people make their own parks and do their own thing. Some of you might even have the game yourself. It's still something that I'm interested in. Still a game and a series I would like to at least try on the channel. Again, it's more for pastime of the nostalgic purposes and just enjoying what Roller Coaster Tycoon used to be and what Planet Coaster 1 used to be. That is still definitely on the top of my list in terms of games that I would like to try, not only series-wise, but just stream-wise. Obviously, Assetto Corsa Evo is on that list pretty high up
Take
there.
care.
And then with Rensport being free to play, that's probably the easiest way for me, obviously, because, like I said, money's just not really a thing right now. So with it being free to play, I think that that's what intrigues me the most about it. The new Test Drive game looks sick. Test Drive Unlimited, is that what we're talking about? I've seen a lot of people talk about that game negatively. That's the only thing that I will say. It does look very good. The graphics look really cool, and I like the changes that can be made. I've just seen a lot of negative things about the game specifically, so that's the only reason why I've not brought it up. Like, those of you who know Alex Gillen, I know that he's played it, and he said that the handling feels a little, like, wonky-ish. Like, he didn't necessarily say wonky, but it just feels weird. Like, it doesn't feel like the car's as responsive as what it should be. And again, everyone has their own opinion, so maybe he's just trying to compare it to an F1 car, and no car or road car is ever going to feel like a Formula 1 car unless it's an Aston Martin Valkyrie. One thing I did see earlier today, though, I was watching a YouTube video from, this is not a plug or anything, this is just what I'm telling you guys I do in my free time sometimes. This is how I find out about new games or upcoming games. Sometimes I'll just go on YouTube and type in, like, upcoming games of 2025 or upcoming sim racing games of 2025. If I am not mistaken, they have announced Forza Horizon 6 supposed to be releasing sometime in 2025. Now, they have not confirmed nor denied the release date, but there is a lot of speculation going around that it is going to be sometime in 2025. Now, if that is the case, and if it is truly set in Japan like it's being rumored to be, we are definitely purchasing Forza Horizon 6, and we are definitely going to be playing that at least for like a month just to enjoy it. I love Forza Horizon. My favorite one was Forza 3. I do have Forza 5. We've not played it on stream for probably ages. But if 6 really is supposed to come out in 2025, and it really is set, prob 2025, prob not Japan, where then? Because I've heard a lot of publications talk about it being set in Japan. Like, I'm not talking about one or two. I'm talking about, like, I've run into a couple different articles. I've run into a couple different well-known racing sources that have said they are expecting it to be in Japan. Never really tried Forza. They said that for Forza, for FH4 and FH2, FH5. I'm not disagreeing with you. They did say that. But again, I'm still holding out hope regardless. Jordan, I think that I mean, it's more of an arcadey style of game. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's definitely more of an arcadey, like, it's somewhere in between Need for Speed and like a Assetto Corsa. Like, it's not a Need for Speed, so like it's still somewhat, quote unquote, somewhat realistic in terms of the car drivability, and the fact that, like, you can't take a corner at 150 miles an hour and still have all 4 tires planted on the road like you can in Need for Speed. But it's also not near the level of like Assetto Corsa, where it's like as one-to-one as the car could be in real life. As Shay said, it's what most people refer to as a simcade, so it's like somewhat simulator, somewhat arcade. I've always enjoyed Forza. Like I said, I think that 3 is my favorite personally. I believe that 3 is the one that was set in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. I enjoyed that one the most. That was probably the one I had the most fun on. All of them are enjoyable in my eyes. I've not had one that I've not enjoyed that I've played. I've never played Forza Motorsports. I am more of a Forza Horizon. So that's just my opinion. If you like the motorsport aspect of things, by all means, that's your choice. I prefer the Horizon side of things because there's multiple things that you could do. There's countless amounts of cars that you could drive. There's countless amounts of like races that you can do. You could just free roam and drift and try and get as high of a point skill as you can. Forza Motorsport 8 is garbage anyways. Well, thanks for that recommendation. At least you're honest, bro. So listen, I will say this. We might be just on the cusp of getting that Mercedes. The only downside is, I believe we're going to be right at 8 o'clock when we are able to purchase said Mercedes. So we might have to do like one more stream day of Taxi Simulator before we can call it the end. Because like I said before, we can't really run past 8. We've got a lot of things to do tonight. Still need to make sure the kids are getting taken care of. Still need to make sure they're getting ready for bed. 8 is the cutoff time. I think that we're going to be like right on that cusp. It's like 25 minutes until 8. You could do the start of a stream. That's a good idea, actually. We could just do like the first 30 minutes of like the next open lobby stream. We could just do that and just try and finish off Taxi Simulator. The only thing that I don't like about changing games is that when I try to use the website that I've mentioned before that I usually get most of my clips from, Eclipse, eclipse.gg.
Is it busy for you today?
It's been pretty busy.
I've been running around the city non-stop since this
But
morning.
when you
That
play
sounds
more than one
tiring.
game on stream, it usually is
I'm happy
a
to
lot
be able to
harder
earn a lot of money
for
on
the
a busy day like this.
It must
actual
be hard to keep up with the
website to
demand.
try and keep up with the switching of games. So it's almost like you have to do 2 different streams.
It's
if
not
that makes any
always
sense.
easy to stay motivated,
Could restart the
but I'm
stream.
used to it.
Fair enough.
It's good that
Could
you
always
have
do
a
that.
positive attitude towards it.
Could always do that.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I mean, maybe, listen, I just want to throw this out there again. This is not set in stone. This is not me trying to say that it's 100% going to happen. We could do a situation where tomorrow, because we're not going to be live on our normal time, like I said, because we have basketball practice, we could do a stream for like maybe an hour in the morning. Like we go like 12 to 1 after we get some laundry and some dishes done. Maybe we go like 12 to 1 and just try and finish off the rest of the game. Just drive the Mercedes around, enjoy the time, chat with back and forth with each other. I think that if we start at noon, it'll be about 5 p.m. for most of my UK viewers. So some of you guys might be eating dinner, I guess, but you guys should be past school time and be able to at least be home. That's my main considering factor with that. I know that obviously some of my US viewers will still be either at work or still busy during the day during that time. But I think that that's the best way to find that compromise is like 5 is early for dinner. Is early for dinner for me. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not early. I just know that some people do choose to eat at like 5:36 p.m. And if we start at noon, we would probably go until 1. So it would be around 6 for you guys. And I know a lot of my viewers are still at their parents'. So it's just on the fact of when their parents are ready for dinner. Normally I eat at like 8. Alright, fair enough. I'm good for Friday at 12. Alright, well, like I said, take that with a grain of salt, please. Don't take that into 100% consideration. If we have the time tomorrow, I would gladly like to get it done. And just, not just because the game's almost done, but just because I would like to be able to move on and focus on other things. And of course, if we were to start Planet Coaster 2, it would be nice to replace Taxi Sim with Planet Coaster 2. Obviously, we can't start Planet Coaster 2 now because, like I said, I don't even have the game yet. But if we were to finish the game, I think it would be nice to at least be able to replace it with something. Whether or not that's we go back to our F1 career mode and we have time for that again, or if we start actually doing WRC a little bit more consistently again, because I know that we've been kind of slacking off on the WRC rally, which I still enjoy a lot, and I still want to try and get a top 5 time in the world. Those of you who've been here. No, obviously we do have a top 9. We have been 9th in the world before on WRC. I would like to get to top 5. That is ultimately the goal. I mean, ultimately the goal is to be number 1, but I don't think that that's in the realistic realm of grasp right now, just because I have less than 60 hours played on the game. It's an entirely different driving style than Formula 1. I would rather be more comfortable in an F1 car than the rally car. I'm not saying I don't enjoy it, because obviously I enjoy the game or I wouldn't play it. But most of those people who I'm racing against on the time trial board, WRC is their main game and their main form of entertainment for viewers and for themselves. Obviously, we all know that is not our main game around here. Our main game is F1. I can't be upset with the fact that we've gone 9th in the world, especially with the time that we've put in the game. But I think, again, that just comes down to me being comfortable with the fact that I can pick up games faster most of the time than the average person. And I also think when it comes to driving anything, I am above average at the start of any game in its life cycle, other than like a Formula 1. I'm still above probably the average player on F1, but obviously we all know that we have plenty of time to find on almost every single track. Top 10 less than 60 hours is insane, though. I appreciate that, Jordan. Very much appreciated. Like I said, I mean, it's definitely a goal to try and get into the top 5. I want to say we have like 54 hours on the game total. Like I've said before, we have played multiple other dirt games in the past, never on a wheel. I think the last dirt game that we played was on a controller, and it was Dirt 3. Those of you who know what Dirt 3 is, it's completely different than like a WRC. He's got a side quest, and he's still one of the best. Hey, King, I appreciate that, brother. King says he's like Max. He's got a side quest, and he's still one of the best. You have no idea what that means to me, first of all. Second of all, I don't love being compared to Max, but if it comes to driving style and driving expertise, I will take it any day of the week. We all know how I think of him as a person, but I will never disrespect his skill and his ability behind the wheel of a car, because he can drive the wheels off of a car, no matter what car you give him. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that, King. It means a lot to me, brother. I will say, though, I do like the fact that they've added DLC to the game. I never thought that they would add DLC to the game. Mostly like the 1920s style, like, convertible. I didn't think that they were going to ever add any DLC cars to the game. Have your kid at a gas station like Yoss, and he will become Max. I don't think that's how it works. I think it's more of the spending his entire childhood telling him that he's great and berating him if he doesn't drive great. I think that's really what made Max Max. And obviously, it comes down to this natural ability, and we all know that he has it. He's by far one of the most talented drivers on the grid. By far. And if you want to say right now, it would be a hard fight between, even as a Lewis diehard, I have a hard time justifying that he isn't the best on the grid at this moment, just because of what he's been able to succeed. I'm not trying to take away from anyone else's achievements. I'm just saying, when it comes down to it, we all know he is definitely a demon behind the wheel of a car, and I would never ever not agree with that. Like, there's no question in my brain, and if you don't agree with it, you either can't get over your ego and you think that you're Lewis Hamilton himself because you're connected to him, because you're a fan of him, or you're just straight delusional because he's obviously got the skills to pay the bills and more. I mean, that's beyond obvious. All right, let's go. Catherine is probably our last customer of the night. Top 3 drivers, Fernando, Lewis, and then Max. After that is Charles. If we're talking across every discipline, I do think that Fernando's probably one of the most skilled, just because he's had the experience that they don't. But again, I think that if you give Max even a third of the experience that Fernando has, I think that he is a good competitor against him, if not beats him. And that comes down to just reaction time, unfortunately, in my eyes, because I don't care how much you train and how much you try and prevent yourself from slowing down. We all know that as you get older, your reaction times drop off. I don't care if you train it 10 times harder than someone like Max does. Your reaction time just falls. Even if you are a Formula One driver, multiple world champion, Fernando Alonso, as you get older, it's inevitable to happen. There's nothing that you can do to prevent that. There's nothing that you could do. Nothing. Unless you somehow create an anti-aging serum. That's the only way I could see. And I'm not saying that's not possible. There's plenty of younger people who have worse reaction time than an older person.
Hi.
Especially like the average 25-year-old compared to Fernando Alonso. I'm sure he blows 89% of them out of the water. But again, I just think that when it comes down to the aging process, I think if you put Max in a World Endurance Championship car with a decent team, he's winning it. I mean, we've seen it online. I hate to say it's sim racing, but he's been up all night long sim racing, winning the sim race, sleeping for 3.5 hours, and then showing up and winning the F1 race by 25-30 seconds. So, like, what are you really going to say about his skill besides the fact that he's obviously great? You can't. And at that point, if you do, you're delusional. Again. Charles Leclerc is only 34 points behind Lando. There's really reasonable for him to do so. I wish Lewis wasn't so old. Him and Max would have peak battles right now, along with Lando. I mean, he still could. Even Fernando, if either one of them were given a good enough car to compete, I really do believe that both of them are still quick enough and young enough to not only give them a run for their money, but potentially even beat them. The fact that there's a chance Lando might lose second in this World Driver Championship challenging season is crazy. Lance Stroll has the reaction time of a snail and awareness of a sloth. Shows the Lando bottles this season. Overhyped by fans. Too much ego. Lando's not a top 5 driver on the grid. See, I don't know if I agree with that exactly. I think when it comes to composure and when it comes to comfortability, I will agree with that for sure. But when it comes to raw pace and pure car potential, I do think that he's top 5. Put them all in an F1 24 equal performance lobby, Shay says. That would be actually pretty fun to see. Imagine if you got all the F1 drivers to play the F1 game in an equal performance lobby, and even if they didn't have to choose their own car, they could just choose whatever car they wanted. That would be pretty cool to see. I can't lie. Fernando might be too old. Don't know if he could work that. Listen, when we're talking about everything together, again, I will agree. But when it comes down to pure pace and raw potential, I think that he's top 5 easily. When it comes to composure and championship fatigue and the fact that we've obviously seen it affect him throughout this season, I don't think that he's a top 5 driver when we compare everything that it takes to be not only a Formula One driver, but just a motorsport driver in general. I've said this, those of you who have been in the stream for a long time, or even the last 6 months before he really had a shot. I've said from day one that I thought even if McLaren did have the fastest car, that he wouldn't be able to compete because he's not to the level of composure that some of the drivers that he's battling with are. Like, I personally think that Charles Leclerc is in the same way. I think that they both have a hard time under pressure, which is one of the biggest downfalls of any driver ever. If you can't perform under pressure, it doesn't matter how fast you are. Ultimately, you're going to fall to the people who perform under pressure. That's just what it is. And that will never change. In my eyes.
Such a pleasure riding.
No, Charles has gotten a lot better. I'll give him that. I'm not discrediting him at all. He's obviously still a way better driver than me, and probably will forever be. There's a reason he has a Formula One contract and I don't. Mostly because he has money and I didn't have money. But again, he has the skill. I'm not saying that they don't have skill. They all are better than I am. All of them. Even Lance Stroll. I'm not trying to say that they're not good. They're all better drivers than I am. That's clear. They're 20 of the greatest drivers in the world in their own respect. They wouldn't be on the grid if they weren't. And I know we can make arguments about Lance Stroll and he shouldn't be on the grid unless his daddy owned the team. Regardless of how you want to put it, yes, I agree. He probably shouldn't be on the grid at this point, but he'd still put all of us in dust. Like, I have no qualms in thinking that. I would put almost every dollar I have to my name right now that he puts all of us in the dust in any race on average. That's my opinion. Again, everyone's entitled to their opinion. If you don't agree, you don't agree, but that's just what I think. He puts burners to every single one of us, regardless of how you want to look at it. I don't want to say it, but it's just the facts. Top 5 in no order: Charles, Lewis, Max, Fernando, Carlos. See, I'm going to say something questionable here. I think that Alexander Albon is maybe not top 5, but he's definitely close. I think if he were given more time at Red Bull, he could have performed better. But I also think the car is not suited in the way that he drives the car. So it's never really been his cup of tea. I personally think, though, that he is one hell of a driver and he deserves more respect than what he's given. That's my opinion. 24,000 for the Mercedes. Boom! We got the Mercedes in the bag now. Still need to purchase it. Well, we still need to drive it. We still need to hire an employee. So let's go ahead and hire an employee. Switch to the Mercedes. Let's give someone the Tesla. Earns more money, provides less money. Works long shifts, takes a lot of sick days. Victor, welcome in. Welcome to the fleet. Hopefully you are willing to drive the Tesla. You better be willing. It's the nicest car we have. Let's put him in the tourist area and work him 9 to 8. Yeah, let's work him 9 to 8. Work him 9 to 8. We have 1,600 euros left. Alex Albon is currently on fraud watch. What do you mean by that? Please expand. I think Charles learned a lot from his 2022 season. I agree. This season, I don't think we've seen him crash under pressure. No, I don't think we have. Lance Stroll wasn't even good in F3. I'm not saying he was. I'm just saying, compared to the average driver, which we are average drivers, he puts us in the dust. Even though I hate him, Stroll has his day. That fraud is getting beat by Colapinto. Colapinto's a good driver. I don't know why you put it like that. He might be young, but he's a good driver. Obviously, he's got pace. Albon needs another chance. I agree with that, Shay. 100%. King says that Albon is on fraud watch. I don't know what that means. Alex Albon has yet to beat competitive teammate. I disagree with that. Yes, I know that there's stats that show it, but again, when it comes down to it, I don't think that they are giving him the same respect that they give Colapinto. I don't. Again, we don't know. None of us know what happens behind the scenes, but I don't. Has he not beat Colapinto this year? I could have sworn that he's outperformed Colapinto in at least 2 races. I'm looking it up. We're looking it up. Race results. Brazil, neither of them finished the race. He didn't start the race. Colapinto didn't finish the race. Mexico, Colapinto did have a better performance, but Albon didn't finish, and I believe that was that was not his fault. He would have had a better performance in Colapinto. I would almost put money on it. The only reason he didn't is because him and Tsunoda had the lap 1 incident. United States, so Coda, that was one of the ones that he had a bad performance on. Colapinto did outperform him there. I'll give him that. Singapore, again, did not finish. Albon, there we go. Baku, Albon, P7, Colapinto, P8. Qualifying, Albon went P10, Colapinto was P9. So he started behind him in qualifying at the start of the race and finished in front of him in front of the race. And again, Monza, Albon, P9, 2 points. Colapinto, P12. Netherlands, Albon, P14. That was before Colapinto was on the team. Again, I'm not disagreeing 100%. I get what you're saying. I get where you're coming from, but all of his teammates haven't been competitive except for Max. I am Canadian. I like Stroll. I know he's good, but overall, I don't think he's a driver. I don't think he is driver 1 over Alonso. He also needs more development. He was rushed into his position. He was shown glimpses, but he needs work. Agreed. I think he only beat him in his first race. He can't beat a competitive teammate if he hasn't had one. Fair play. I mean, he won in Monza. He won, not won, but he outperformed in Monza. He outperformed, which one? What was the other one? Baku. And the next 3 races, Singapore, Coda, and Mexico, he didn't even finish the race. And then Brazil, neither of them finished the race. Albon didn't even get to start the race. Listen, I agree. Okay, it was his first race. I'm not saying that it's 1-to-1 and that you can compare it exactly, but I'm just saying he deserves more respect than what he's given. Period. That's my opinion. I'll never forget that. A sport engine costs 4,000 euros. All right, we need that for sure. Drilled sport disc brakes, 2,000 euros. That's 6,000 right there. Sport tires, 2,000. So that's 8,000 right there. And then we don't really need. We'd rather keep it in manual. Let's go ahead. That black looks tough. All right. We're going to do one. We'll customize the car and then we'll be done. I think it's just a big deal. The kid is scoring points in the car, and Albon has struggled with while being known as a pretty good driver in the same car. Albon has more points than Colapinto. What are we talking? I know he's had more races, but again, the last 4 races, he hasn't even been able to compete. He was either crashed on lap 1, had an incident, or his car was... I just said he did the whole season. But again, Williams doesn't have the most competitive car. It's not like we're talking about the Red Bull. Like, their car is not that competitive. There was a time for like 5 or 6 weekends where it was decently competitive. But again, when you don't even race the last 4 races, how can you really compare that? And the biggest thing, I think, for me is that in those 4 races, Colapinto didn't finish in the points once, besides Coda, and he was P10. Every other race before that, Albon has outperformed him, regardless if it was his first race or not. All right. Y'all make the decision. Do we keep it clean? Do we go for like the black interior, or do we make it Halloween? Do we go for the purple? Let me know, because as soon as we get done customizing the car, we're out of here. All right. King says black. We're going to black. Gear stick. Let's make it the baseball. Actually, no. Let's make it the dice. Dashboard decoration. We're probably going to go with the Hula Girl. Yeah, we're going Hula. We're going Hula. Jordan, unfortunately, you were the only one to say purple. Shay and King both said black. All right, the outside of the car. We might actually... Yeah, we're going to do that one right there. I like that a lot. LEDs. We'll throw the yellow one on. Taxi sign. This is probably the most expensive thing that we have. 500 euros left. I don't think we need a spoiler. Rims. I think we're out of our budget. I kind of want to white wall it, but I know what you guys will think, so we'll leave it like that. Now, I am not mad at that car. Not mad at that car at all. We do have some upgrades to do to it, that's for sure. We've got 8 employees. We could always just sell one of these cars and then upgrade it. Like, we could sell the Tesla or the... See, we still wouldn't have enough, though. I think we needed 11,000 to fully upgrade the car. We'd have to sell the Tesla and something else, like the Sedana. But we'll push on. I digress. We'll use the time we have. I think that is going to be it for me, though. Thank you guys for stopping in tonight. Thank you guys for staying tuned. Like I said, if we have time tomorrow, we are going live. Blacked out look dope. Are we talking about in the car? Shay prefers the all black taxi, so we'll go with the all black. We'll go with the all black. I like it. It looks nice. Could always do a straight tribute to the Mercedes and run the silver paint. Would say more, but I'm top 4 in Apex right now. Hey, King, good luck, brother. Get you that win. You deserve it. Like I said, though, thank you guys for staying tuned tonight. Thank you guys for stopping in. If we have time, we will be live tomorrow. Noon Eastern Standard Time. 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If we do not have time tomorrow, we will be live again on Tuesday. And also, if we do, Shay, when we play the game next, you can let us know what color you like the most, brother. If we do go live on tomorrow, it's just going to be for about an hour. We can finish off Taxi Simulator. If we don't go live tomorrow, we will be live Tuesday, and we will finish off the game for about 30-40 minutes before we get into whatever we're really going to get into. So, thank you guys again. I appreciate everyone staying tuned. Remember, have a good night. Stay peaceful. Stay positive. Tomorrow's a new day. Today can change in the blink of an eye. Thank you very much for staying tuned. And I will see you guys either tomorrow or on Tuesday. Thank you very much. Peace. Nate, you joined in. Nate, you joined in at the wrong time, brother. We're out of here. We're out of here, brother. Have a good night. We will be playing Taxi Simulator, though, either tomorrow morning, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Tuesday on our regular time for about 30-45 minutes to finish off the game. Thank you guys for staying tuned. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.